All right, hello and welcome to another exciting, hopefully, episode of Europa. I am your host, as always, Jeff Harvey, and you can follow me wherever you want. You'll find me. I'm out there at Studio Tembo on
On the
all the places.
sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean I'm there. Just follow me home. It's
Not at all creepy.
not at all creepy.
Stalkers welcome.
My wife's gone for the weekend for the week, so I'm pretty lonely. Um, StudioTembo.com, and also all the other places that you can find us. On that note, let's go ahead and introduce our exciting cast for the day. Brian, go ahead.
My name is Brian. I'm playing Captain Jorad H. And I have nothing to plug.
Ev.
Evelyn Corbin, I am playing Dr. Desave Oneat. Please don't follow me home. My dog might eat you.
It's legit. Jack.
Hello, yes, I am Jack. I do other things on other places on the interwebs. Namely, I have my own Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/The People's Ascension, where I primarily every Saturday run a Dungeons and Dragons actual play series, where we're working our way through a dungeon towards the conclusion of our current chapter, and it's looking to be exciting. I also do various hangout sessions throughout the week. I got things on YouTube. I got a Patreon. It's all there. So go check out my channel. And well, do that after this show because I'm excited to see where this is going.
There's some episodes that are backlogged that are going to come out this week. So those of you who are watching live, that's not really matter to you. But in those of you who are listening, I guess after the fact, we'll probably be getting a bunch of episodes all at once, which I hate doing, but be the way it is. On that note, also, next week, for the live viewers, we will be off because it'll be the reopening week of Adventure Inc., the game shop that we own. And, yeah, check us out at adventureinc.xyz. That's Adventure Inc. INK. .xyz. And I'm looking forward to being open, and it is killing me. I'm very sick today, which may be the Waffle House that I ate yesterday, or it could be the stress. I don't know yet. But on that note, let's go ahead and do a recap of what happened last event, last session, last episode, last whatever we want to call it. Who's got info?
So, Tong discovered the anomalous reading was some sort of transition from the ship to some unknown location. Our replicator apparently is sending transmissions. There were no signs of anyone in particular in that area at that time, but he did find a small device with a bunch of tubes plugged into a bunch of different ports, which he then removed and put back in with a trace and tap. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
On the planet, in the caves, Cherka, Ambrose, and our trusty team of yellow shirts were stalking some Klingons. They found a bunch of Iconian tech, a life support system, 2 of the 8 Klingons transported out, and they fought the remaining 6. One of them ran away like a bitch.
He had
Mejad, the son of Chancellor Martok himself.
Yep. One of his sons, anyway.
Cherka found a Klingon data pad from the IKS RAF, which she took. She blew some stuff up. I just remember what she blew up.
The Klingons beamed to a cloaked ship, and we detected the cloaked ship and set to pursue.
Right.
Right. And then Ambrose and Cherka managed to shut down the exploding reactor that they had set with a whopping 3 seconds to spare because thematically appropriate.
Yep.
Would have been super embarrassing if we blew up a quarter of the planet.
Yes. Especially after basically winning the fight.
Yeah.
Mildly mortifying.
So, anybody else got anything they want to add?
I think the only other thing we didn't cover is that Desavi and Define are down helping with the mutagenic virus.
They met Dr. Aaron Tarath.
Yes. And Dasavi is trying to figure out what it is. The virus is overwriting the DNA. For the most part, the Dionysians are incompatible with the exception of 6. So she is trying to figure out what makes those 6 so special.
Right. 6 so far, anyway.
Yeah, 6 so far. And the 6 that have survived are stronger and in better health than they were before.
Right. And you were in the midst of a extended task to sort that out.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
And on that note, unless you have anything else, anyone else has anything else, we'll pick up with Dr. Onayet and Dasavi. Not that's the same person.
No, that's the same person.
Delphine
Yes.
and Dasavi down on the planet working on the project, since we didn't get back to them at the end of last session due to the combat.
Yes.
So you're working. You're working in the labs. There's a lot coming in and out. A lot of people coming in and out, obviously. New data coming from various places. Over the course of the first 6 hours that it took you to work, there were a couple more reported cases of people who didn't die from the disease. And you can add that into your data, your normal data streams.
Okay.
So go ahead and give me another extended task roll. Medical, what I was going to say here, the words. The words. My brain, unfortunately,
Say the
is slightly
words.
fried.
She didn't say the words.
I said your words. Reason and medicine, I believe, is what we're after, or daring
I
and
think so.
medicine. Either of those would work.
Okay. We determined that my focus is to apply.
Yep. And Delphine can roll an assist.
Ooh, I will take that.
Oh, nice. And
Mhm.
Delphine gets a 1. So
Excellent.
that's
That is
2.
all the successes.
3,
5.
4, and 5. 5 successes. Your difficulty was 2, so you have 3 to spare.
Hooray.
Go ahead and roll your work. While I open up the cheat sheet.
That was trash. That is 2.
2 in an effect. However, you have 3 momentum, so you can spend them to re-roll if you want.
Yeah, let's do that. Is like buying d20s, or can I just spend a momentum to re-roll?
You spend. I think it's a single momentum allows you to re-roll all of them, but this cheat sheet is not opening, so that's what we're gonna go with.
Hey, I should
That's
have
correct.
one. All right. Cool. So we will spend a momentum to re-roll that hot mess and get
Much better.
Much better.
5 and 5 effects, which the effects don't
Yes.
really much matter here.
Right.
But you still have 2 momentum you can spend. And it's Adobe crashed. I mean, that's what happened.
Oh.
So you have 2 effects. Two net effects. You have 2 momentum.
Momentum.
The resistance is 3 for the next roll. So you currently have 4. No, you have 2 effects currently. You have 2 total work at the moment. But you have 2 momentum that you can use to do how you want.
We can spend them.
Yeah,
We can spend.
you can reduce your resistance by 2, and then you can increase your damage, your penetration, whatever. You could do additional work. Man, my words are just totally failing me.
It doesn't help that I don't fully understand extended tasks to begin with, and now I'm just super confused.
Right.
I am damaging the specimens and making them work. That's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, Brian was telling you what was happening, but I was talking over him. So
It ends up being we get we'll spend 2 momentum on resistance. We end up getting +3 successes.
Okay.
right.
All right. So let's do that. I'm good with that. And we need a total of how much work?
Your total remaining work at the moment, you had 5 out of 8, so you only needed 3.
Okay. And because we got 5 and 1, that gives us a breakthrough, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you use the momentum properly, yes. You'd get a breakthrough in 5, and then you'd get another breakthrough for completing the work track, which would give you 2 total magnitudes for this task, which would put you at 3 total for the encounter. The magnitude limit was 2, so you would have succeeded in the roll.
All right. let's do that.
All right. And it'll have taken about 12 hours total to have gotten there.
Wait, that's not bad.
No. All right. So as you're working, it's getting late in the evening. You guys have been working all night. Sweat pouring over your shoulders, or over your brows, and your shoulders too, for some reason. When you come across the final connections, you were tracing back their DNA and their heritage and their you were looking at their shared experiences and all the different things that you were looking at. And what you can find is that it appears as though they already have some traces of Iconian DNA that track back in their history. All of the people that have so far been benefited by this virus have the Iconian DNA at a specific percentage, or better than that percentage.
Hmm.
So, and it's a pretty low percentage level. So you can do with that with your will. Dr. Aaron makes his way in around the same time that you're, finishing up your conclusion. He's got a lot of he's definitely worn out and disheveled, and he's been working clearly for the last 18 to 20 hours as a whole. And when he comes in, he brings you a strong smelling liquid in a oddly shaped mug. It's got kind of a bitter sweet smell to it. Puts down in front of
Hibiscusy.
Yeah. It smells like rye. No, puts it down right. Puts it down in front of you and puts one down in front of Delphine and sits down, puts his feet back, not his feet back, puts his, leans back in the chair and kind of kicks off his shoes. It's been a very long day. I hope that you've come to something. This is I guess Starfleet would call it a type of coffee. They help you focus.
She takes a sip.
Particularly bitter.
She tries really hard to not kind of shudder a little bit, and mostly holds it back, but does get that little bit of
It's like the bitterness of Starbucks without the burn.
Oh.
Anyway.
Fired. We have actually. It would appear the survivors all have Iconian DNA at about
3% or better.
At about the 3 to 4% threshold or higher.
He kind of instinctively kind of leans forward towards what you're saying. Iconian DNA.
Mm-hmm.
There are legends that when the Dionysians and the other tortured worlds, if I recall correctly, it was Due and Icobar, but my Iconian history is limited. But legend has it that when the Iconians were attacked by the coalition of worlds, they went to their gates and attempted to hide on our worlds. I wonder if there is some truth to it.
It's distinctly possible. It also begs the question, are there any legends? I don't know much about the Iconians. Are there legends involving Klingons and Iconians?
None that I'm aware of.
We've run across some Klingons who have been enhanced, both cybernetically and physiologically. And I suspect the Klingons that are on your planet either brought this virus intentionally and released it, or are infected carriers and inadvertently released it to your people.
Perhaps they've been experimenting with splicing Iconian DNA to them.
But
That's
where are they going to get Iconian DNA?
perhaps it's. They said that there was some kind of facility. Maybe it's down there.
Maybe.
Either way,
Maybe.
it's the implications are quite disturbing. The effect, I suppose, is irrelevant, though, as to whether they brought it intentionally or otherwise. Do we
Right.
have any means of containing it?
I have not gotten that far in my research. You walked in pretty much just at the eureka moment.
Well, it does give us a path forward, though, doesn't it?
Indeed.
I'm no expert in Iconian history. Just what we hear here on Tynesia, stories, of course, bedroom, children's tales, that sort of thing. I don't know of any experts in the field either. I'll have to look into it to see if I know anyone. But it's certainly an interesting concept.
It is. We do have a xenoanthropologist on board. I will consult with her and see what she knows as well.
Perhaps if we can, the patients who seem to do the best are the ones who have more Iconian DNA. However, there seems to be like latent Iconian DNA in the rest of the population. Perhaps if we're able to activate that DNA, they might respond better if infected with the virus.
It's possible.
It's a thought.
We may also be able to synthesize some sort of activation mechanism through the DNA. Something that we can inject as and have it interact with the virus.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
He drinks the stiff liquid again and sets it down. It's like, this really is bitter, isn't it? Well, he puts his feet down and slips his shoes back on. I guess it's back to work then.
Indeed. If you have volunteers who wouldn't mind being human guinea pigs, as much as I don't like starting with human trials, or as it were.
Dionysian.
Yes, Dionysian people trials, sentient being trials. We'll take all the volunteers you can get. Probably the healthier, the better.
We'll put together a pool, of course, but we should begin with non-living trials if we can. Let's get a working hypothesis together and a working vaccine, hopefully, at least working in a petri dish before we start injecting it and just trying things. But I will put together a list of likely candidates for when we can move to trials.
Yeah. Off to work.
And let's go ahead and jump into the intro roll real quick. All right. When we come back in, let's go to the bridge of the Europa, which Hage is there. I'm not sure who else is on the bridge.
O'Connor was on the bridge because she was the one who found the Who traced the Beaumont?
Right.
Mills too. Probably Silva at the helm.
Would Mills be on the bridge?
Someone's going to need to man the phasers. So, I mean, I can have H jump onto him.
I said we've got Koba too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But that's me playing 3 characters in the scene.
Yeah.
You can do it. I believe in you. No, it's fine. We'll put Mills on phasers. It's fine.
All right. So you have O'Connor had successfully located triangulated the location of the Klingon cloaked ship with the help of the enhanced sensors that the Europa has, and it was beginning to move off at a high rate of speed. And you were in pursuit.
Lieutenant, full speed ahead. I don't want that ship getting away.
Yes, sir.
9.975, go.
Add as many tenths as you can manage onto that.
It's not at warp yet, but yeah. You're tracking it through the system. You're within. I mean, you can catch it up to it pretty quickly.
Okay. Try to tractor it.
Okay, gonna put a tractor beam on the ship. Mills.
Yep.
All right.
I'm getting there. Sorry. I was writing notes.
I gotcha.
What do you want for detractors?
Should be either control or daring and security.
Control or daring? We'll go control. Control and security is a 14.
Your difficulty is going to be 3.
Ah, rude.
And you have no momentum.
No momentum. I don't think I can hand-to-hand combat my way into this.
I'm going to say, unless you want to put on a suit and go out there and grab it, and I don't think it's going to work.
You know what? I'm going to spend a point of determination. As the commanding officer, I can spend a point of determination to grant any other character I can communicate with 1 point of determination. It does not have to be linked to a value.
Okay.
Okay. I will spend that and buy another die. Oh, no, I don't buy a die. It just becomes an automatic one, right?
Right.
Yeah, 3-1.
Or it does other. You could do other things with determination too, but that's most likely what you're going to do here.
Right.
That would give you 3 successes.
Yep.
Which is enough. You lock onto the ship with a tractor beam. A few seconds later, it decloaks and its shields go up.
Shields are up, Captain. This is the ICAS Wrath, right?
Yes.
Tactical maneuvers. We should assume it's going to fight until it proves otherwise. I would like to, as Malini Silva, engage in an attack run.
Okay. That's difficulty 2, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
There we go.
Getting some crazy rolls tonight. The ship also assists, so.
A 12, that's a success. So that's 3. So you have 1 momentum.
Okay.
Okay. They power up the weapons, but they have not opened fire yet. They also have not hailed you yet.
We should hail them. Open a hailing channel. Attention, Klingon ship. This is Commander Jorad Hage of the Federation starship USS Europa. You are ordered to strike your shields immediately and surrender. You were in violation of the Kittimer Accord.
This Klingon comes on screen. Starship Europa. So good to meet you finally, Captain Hage. I am Gothmara, daughter of Koltan. And you are my prisoner.
I think you seem to be misunderstanding the situation, Captain. We have you dead to rights. I suggest you surrender so that way we can resolve this peacefully.
Well, as we do not recognize your Kittimer Accords, and I am not alone, I believe you are mistaken. At which point, a second ship decloaks. A little farther out in the system, but it is definitely headed your way.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Federation ships, but they were all too small to assist.
Yeah, it's like it's like an Oberth and stuff like that. They could assist a bit, but they're just blow up specials.
Sure.
So clearly, strictly science, like not strictly, but they're science vessels mostly. It's I think it was an Oberth and a Miranda is what I had there.
Okay. Commander Mills, can you organize a boarding team? I want people over on that Klingon ship as soon as possible.
Yes, sir. Just turn to some other random security person and point them over to the section and go get a team ready.
So I'm going to propose something. I think the boarding team should consist of Koba, Tong, and don't know who else.
I don't. Why would
Maybe-
we take Tong?
To disable the ship. Mainly just to get mainly just to get Jack in on the scene.
Doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have an engineer of some sort.
It doesn't, but
He will go if ordered.
tactically, and if Captain, if we have this conversation in character, Mills will also argue this. Tactically, it would make more sense to leave Tong at the transporters if we need an emergency.
Considering you're still on the on the radio with or on the screen with Gothmara, I doubt right now is a good time to discuss that. But.
No.
Yeah.
I think story-wise, it doesn't make sense to do that either. I think if your point is to get Jack in the scene, we can set the flight team out as well and
that's true.
Run your peregrines.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's just launch fighters instead. I'd forgotten about fighters.
In addition to.
Yeah, I'd say in addition.
In addition to, yeah.
Okay, that's Vren.
Yeah, let's send Varen.
I think the boarding action isn't going to be able to happen until shields are down anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to launch fighters right now, or are you going to say something else before you do anything? Like she's still on the screen there, and you have another ship coming in.
Fire phasers. I think it's safe to say they're not going to surrender at this point.
Mm-hmm. She just smiles and clicks the button off.
Okay.
So go ahead and fire phasers. You guys go first.
Well, maybe we should launch fighters first. Is that its own action?
It's not. It would be. I guess theoretically it would be an action. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's do that first.
All right. So fighters are launched. Jashin may do. What's you gonna do there, Jashin?
Oh, they get to act immediately. Okay.
You can. I assume that it's a rapid launch system.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
So the other ship that just decloaked, out of engagement currently, but closing in.
Yeah, you could engage them at long range. The fighters can't engage them.
Fighters can't. No.
Yeah, because fighters
Uh,
can't engage long range. They can only engage in close range.
Yeah. No, I think the fighters are just going to go in and try to pepper those shields down.
Okay.
And the Europa can take care of the long range combat.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start. Let's see. Fighter gets a single task or action and a single minor action. So just like any other combat.
Okay. Does this fancy cheat sheet you gave me have Starship combat rules? I'm sure it does somewhere.
It has some Starship combat rules. Basically, what you want to do is you're going to do an attack.
Minor actions.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it only lists 4 ship minor actions here, and none of them are all that.
Yeah, there's not a lot there.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm just an attack run.
Okay. Non-torpedoes, I assume.
Phasers would do more against shields, right?
Theoretically, in the game, there's no difference, but in setting, yes.
Yeah. No, we'll go phasers.
In game it does too, because
I thought it did.
It kind of does, because if you do you can do what it's like every 5 and or very. I don't know. It does do somewhat more, but it's not significantly more.
The ship security. Well, for fighters, who knows? But the ship security gets added, which is significant.
Gotcha.
But for fighters, I guess it's only 2, so it's not that big a deal.
Okay. So how do we?
You fire basically the same way that you would fire any other weapons on a starship. So you basically are just rolling your starship combat rules. What is it? I have to get the sheet back out.
Control plus security.
Control security. And I think the difficulty is 2, because it's just what it always is.
For energy weapons, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Control security. Let me bring up Shajin here.
Yep. And when a flight consists of 2 or more fighters, which it does, you can add 1 combat die for damage for each additional fighter past the second. So for 3 or more. So if you have 6 fighters, which I believe you do, you'd add a total of 4 additional combat dice for damage.
Awesome. I assume my focus on fighter craft applies.
Yes.
For maneuvering and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't apply to firing phasers, but it applied to like maneuvering and stuff like that.
So do I get my focus or not?
For firing, I would say no, but for literally everything else you would do in a fighter, yes.
Sure.
Well,
sure.
What's that?
You said you were doing an attack run. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. I used attack run incorrectly. I meant attack pattern, which is the helm maneuver. Did you mean that you were doing the helm maneuver or an attack using the fire weapons?
Considering I believe I only get 1 action per turn, I don't think it would really help to set up an attack. I think it would just be better to go for the attack.
Probably not. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm just firing my lasers. Okay, you said difficulty 2, normal complication range.
Yep.
Let me just roll and see how this works out.
So that's 2 successes.
2. Nice.
You have no additional momentum gained, so you just roll damage.
Okay. And what is that? Do we have that on?
I don't think I put them on the sheet.
That's not on our crew sheet. No.
The fighters are in the main book, which I don't have in front of me.
Oh, are they? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Starships 201.
Yeah, they're kind of unimpressive in the main book. There's also a version in other books, and they're different. But
yeah, I thought you created your Peregrines from scratch.
I was gonna take them from another source, but I forgot to do that. So
Ah,
for the
Okay.
moment, we'll just use the substandard Starfleet ones.
where are all these ships?
That's the one under Maquis Fighter, right?
It should be Federation Fighter. And if it's not Federation Fighter, then it's Maquis Fighter. But I'm pretty sure there's one called Federation Fighter.
There's not.
That might be in the operations book then, or the command book. I mean, but if you've got if there's a Maquis Fighter in the main book, just use that one for now.
There's the Maquis Fighter in the main book.
Okay. Well, if you found it,
Much like every other Star Trek episode, they will be wildly inconsistent from episode to episode.
Yeah. Do you have that up? Can you tell me what I'm rolling?
What page is it on, Brian?
Is it the one that you? If it's the one you just posted, he also just posted it to the Discord too.
Yep.
Jumping through so many windows.
Right. Even with multiple monitors, I'm like, where's the thing? I lost my crew sheet for a minute, opened a whole new one, and then found it like 10 minutes
there it
later.
is.
Yeah.
The Maquis Raider. Yeah. So the security is 2.
It's 3 challenge. It's 3 damage versus 2.
3 damage. Yeah, for the energy banks, it says 6.
Wait, it says 6?
Oh, I was looking at Maquis Raider. You're right. Maquis Fighter is 3, plus you'd add 1 for each additional fighter past the first, so it'd be you'd add +4.
Okay. And didn't somebody say I add security to phasers or scale, or what was it?
It's already factored in.
Oh, it's already factored in. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm rolling what, 9? You said 3 plus 6 fighters.
3 plus 4.
3
So
plus 4 fighters. So 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me add that in there. Seven dice, go.
5 damage and 2 effects. The Maquis Fighter's effects is versatile 2.
Okay. We don't have any can I activate those? That requires momentum, doesn't it?
No, it requires effects. Which you
okay,
have.
so I just spend effects. Okay. So you said, what was it? Versatile
2. So if momentum is generated, you gain momentum, which you did not generate. Momentum.
Yeah.
Didn't generate any, so it doesn't matter.
That doesn't really help. Okay.
I think it's just if it's successful.
It says, well, on the cheat sheet, it says if momentum is generated, gain plus X momentum. But you might, if you take a look and see if you can find that, because otherwise you'll gain. If it is true, if it is just a success, then you'll gain 2. But I don't have that in front of me. In the meantime, you have done 5 damage to the Klingon ship. It has resistance, so it takes 3. No, it has. Where's my Klingon ship? It has resistance of 5, so
I found it. It is a, if successful. I'm posting it.
That generates 2 momentum.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's bonus momentum, which means you can only be used on this attack ball.
right.
Okay. So I can spend that momentum to bypass that resistance.
Correct. Well, or at least reduce it. Yes.
Reduce it. Yeah.
So you could reduce it by 4 if you wanted to do that, which would give you reduce it by. It would then reduce it by 1, or it would then do 1. It would the resistance would then reduce you by 1, so you do 4 damage.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll do that.
-1 to shields. No, -4 to shields.
-4 to shields.
So that puts me at that. Okay. All right. It has taken some shields damage. My turn? Or is someone going to spend momentum you don't have? Or does someone even have a thing that allows you to hold keep the action?
Do not.
Negative.
All right.
Not with Ambrose gone.
Right. All right. So in that case, I will return the firing. We are at. So that. I roll dose. I will spend my threat and roll a third. That is 3 successes. Which means I get 1 momentum. I fire with my bullets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
With bullets, huh?
Bullets, Starfleet energy bullets.
Klingon space bullets.
Klingon space bullets. 1,
Let's
2,
name my
3,
next band.
4, 5, 6 damage, and basically 6 effects, right? Yeah. Damn, that's a crappy roll, actually. Kind of. Not really, because I have Vicious 1. So that is 12 damage.
And the Europa explodes.
Yeah.
We take.
No.
So are they firing on the Europa? Or are they
Yeah,
firing on the
who are they
Peregrine
firing
ring
on?
that just fucked
They are
them up?
firing on the Europa.
We take 2 breaches. So we got to roll 2 d20s.
Well, not necessarily, because you've got a resistance of 5.
Oh, well, we take 1 then.
Yes, and I'm gonna spend my 1 to drop that by. So you'd lose 3, so it'd be you take 9 damage, which is 1 breach.
No. Yeah. Let me just bring up the damage table. Does somebody mind rolling a d20 on that?
Sure, I can do that.
I was fixing the ship. Sorry.
No worries.
No fixing, only rollings.
A
9.
9.
Sensors.
Okay. -1 to sensors.
And if we're doing the general breach effects, we cannot use the sensors until it is restored using a minor action.
Right. Okay. On that note, I'm trying to decide if I should be allowed to use that or not.
Can we
No, I'm gonna go
no?
say no.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go ahead and say no, because I should have to spend a threat to be able to do that. But what's that?
I was just about to say, the way I always do it is if you want to cheat, spend threat.
It's not cheating. I wrote out the NPCs, and one of the NPCs has the ability to be able to keep momentum. But I think that should be. I think I should spend threat for that.
Okay.
And I don't have threat currently. So it comes back to the Europa. As the Klingon ship opens fire and targets, or doesn't target, just hits your sensors.
Their shields are still up, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the boarding, so Mills will gather the boarding party.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we can just do this narratively, or just like letting you know this doesn't necessarily have to be our action. Mills is gathering the boarding party. She's going to grab Koba, an engineer, and 3 yellow shirts. One specifically assigned to the engineer.
Mhm.
She's also going to set a bunch of the yellow shirts in the hallways ready for us to be boarded.
Right. Okay.
And don't forget, we've got. Oh, never mind. That's for the infected. Keep going. I'm good.
Okay. So what are you guys gonna do? That's not gonna count as an action. That's something you're doing. So.
Right. So assuming you weren't ready to go, Evelyn, I would like to use the bridge action direct to tell Evelyn, open fire on those Klingons, or tell Mills, open fire on those Klingons, full power. And then, so I'm going to assist you with my command roll.
He left the moment you said, go gather a boarding team.
Well, sure, but like space combat is very, it's not like every 6 seconds you're doing it. And he said that wasn't an action. So like,
No, that wasn't an action, but before you fired, before you set the peregrine wing out, you said the first thing you said to her was go gather a boarding team. So she left the bridge. She was gone before the wing went out.
okay, but Mills
I mean, we
isn't-
can retcon that.
Sure. I guess I figured you would be doing that from the bridge.
Oh,
Through
no.
communications.
Which is totally fine. You can do it either way. So
If
Anyway,
I mean,
that's fine.
either way, Evelyn, if you want to roll, you can roll either way.
Yeah.
You can take over
We do
for the replacement combat technician.
So that is again a 14.
Shoot.
Nice.
Or that should be.
one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw upon my joined lifetimes to give myself the focus in ship tactics for this assist roll.
Okay.
But it still uses my command stat.
Sure. Go ahead and assist.
This. There we go.
Well, it doesn't hit the focus, but it's
Nope.
a success.
So you have 3 successes.
The ship also assists.
Yes, it does.
Oof.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Bollocks.
take my threat for that. So you do hit though, because
Okay.
it's still a success.
Don't know what the hell I'm rolling, and I have too many things open.
So you're rolling. You hit. So you're rolling the ship's
Does-
phaser weapon, which is 6. It looks like.
Okay, 66.
Does Mills focus in tactical systems not apply?
Well, it depends on if Mills is still on the bridge or if Mills walked off the bridge and it's not Mills. It's just someone who has stats like Mills.
Oh, okay.
So I was assuming that Mills had walked off the bridge and that is just the next person in line is firing. But that's up to you guys. Otherwise, yes, you would get more.
I mean, I figured it'd be Mills. When I gave the order, I didn't necessarily mean go down and equip them. I mean, I just meant like calm them, tell them to get to board. It's up to you, but I feel like we're leaving successes on the table.
That logic there feels metagamey though. I am good with retconning it. If for you want Mills on the bridge. Mills is a very hands-on person. So that's why when you said go do, she went. In my brain she went to do. If we want to retcon that, we can retcon that. I'm not comfortable retconning it just to get more points though.
I mean, I absolutely did not mean for the person who was manning the tactical weapons in a combat situation to go do something else. But that's not how I meant it. But if you think it's more narratively interesting that way, we can go with it. But yeah.
It's more in her character.
Okay, then let's go with that. We got 3 successes, so we succeeded by 1.
I'm trying to get back to the right page here. There we go. Sorry. All right, so that is a whole bunch of.
That's 0 successes.
That is
That's 0.
nothing. That was the most worthless. Jesus.
We can
You
use
do
that.
you do have momentum though.
Yeah, we can
Let's-
use that
let's
bonus
use
momentum.
that. Let's
Brutal.
please use that. That is
That's
much
much
better.
Plus, are you rolling enough die there? I'm not sure that's right.
Yeah, you said 6, right?
Mm,
I'm looking at the stats on the ship. It's got the weapons. That might not be enough. It should possibly be the ship. What is it? It's just
It would-
after the weapons out. I don't know if we added the ship's security into
If it's a
that.
phaser array, it's +1. Yeah, no, that is correct. It's 6A.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea where you're looking, so I'm just going to believe you.
Right, because the ship's security is only 3. The Europa is not a combat ship, so
Right. We are mostly a science
Oh,
ship.
but we add scale to it too. So it's
9.
So I need to roll 3 more. Whoa! What? No! What
No,
are you
wait, your
doing?
scale is 5, so it should be 10 total.
no.
So yeah, you need to roll
4 more.
4 more dice.
4 more dice. 1.
1, 2,
3.
3, 4.
Oh yeah.
4 and successes. You also, the weapon is versatile, so you get 2 bonus momentum.
Okay.
Put those towards resistance.
Mhm.
All right, sorry, how much did you do? I was doing something else.
Crap for crap.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13 minus 1. Assuming you're using the 2 bonus momentum to do the resistance.
Right.
So it would be minus 1, so you'd be doing 9, 10, 11 damage, which is 2 breaches. Their shields are still not down, so it's 2 breaches. Go ahead and I'll do it. A 6 and a 3.
That is engines and 2 engines.
2 engines.
Which, if that's less than half their scale, they're damaged.
It is less than half their scale.
If you're using the NPC starship damage rules,
Not for this ship. For the other one, yes. Not for this one.
okay, then just the normal one. They lose 1 power at the end of every round until the effect is repaired.
Right. Yeah, the other ship is using NPC rules. This is a hero ship, so.
Gotcha.
And I need to find something in the book real quick. Give me 1 second. Stand by.
Mhm.
Hold on. It's
I'm
my
off
turn
this.
anyway.
I'm gonna fix our weapons while we're down.
Rules of roleplay, conflict. I swear that this book is so terribly laid out. Not the worst book I've ever seen, but when a complication is rolled, if a complication is not utilized by the GM as a complication, how many threat does the GM get? I'm pretty sure it's 2.
I thought it was 1.
Pretty sure it's 1.
Yeah.
Need to find the page for that. Because I thought it was 1 for a long time, and then I swear to God I read somewhere that it was 2, and I'm like, that seems like a lot, so I should look that up. Character creation, managing the rules, page 279, 278. It's probably not in that page, but let's try it. 278. Tasks.
Okay, so it's supposed to be scale plus security. There's no bonus for the type of weapon it is, so it's just a base 8.
So you would actually have done less damage.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next time we'll roll 2 less.
Okay.
Complications.
freeze on me. What are you doing?
Of course, it's not in the complications section. For example, blah blah blah. It just tells me what the complications are. Oh yeah, here we go. Letting you either bank 2 threat or create a complication that your player for that player character.
Wow.
I knew I read it somewhere.
Hmm.
So, like I have always played it as 1, but I read that rule somewhere recently, and I'm like, oh, that seems odd. All right.
Huh.
So, all right. With that in mind, let's continue forward. I get to go next. I was gonna look for how to target specific sections on a ship, but because there's a way to target the. There has to be a way to be able to disable the tractor beam because they do it all the time in the show. And it can't just be random, I wouldn't think, but I don't know where that's at. So I'm going to spend a threat and say that's what I'm doing.
I think
Targeting
it increases the difficulty by 1.
I'm fine with that. I'm still going to spend a threat to roll an extra die to do that. We'll say we increase difficulty by 1, so difficulty is 3 to target the tractor beam. Let's try to think if I want to do anything else. I don't think I do. 1, 5, 11. So that is 2, 3, 4 successes. So that's succeeded by 1. One is a momentum. And it is 11 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? 11, yes. Click that button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 damage plus 1, 2, 3 vicious. I'll take that. So that's what is it? That's 11 damage, right? 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. And I will reduce resistance by 2. So you're taking 10. One of them is going to be well, I was targeting your tractor beam, which is weapons. So
There are actual
1
rules
breach.
for disabling a tractor beam.
Are there? Do you know what pages are on?
Yes, it is page 222.
222. There's a problem with not being allowed to ship combat, is I
223.
don't really know. 223?
223. Tractor
223.
beam.
It-
If successful, the target vessel is immobilized and cannot move unless it can break free using their shield modulators, the raw power of their engines, or disabling the tractor beam emitter, a task in its own right with a difficulty determined by the strength of the ship's tractor beam. I mean, blowing it
Okay.
up would also work too, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can target the weapons. Okay, so I found targeting a specific system. It does increase the difficulty by 1, but it is communications, computers, engines, sensors, structure, and weapons. So if he's targeting just the tractor beam, it would be what Jack said. But if he's targeting our weapon systems altogether, trying to disable them, you could do that by increasing the difficulty by 1.
Which that's what I already rolled, so we'll do that. So you take a breach to the weapons for sure, possibly 2 breaches to the
because
weapons.
on the sheet it says our tractor beam is strength 5, so that would require 5 successes to break free of our tractor beam.
Yes. Which I just spent another threat and get my 5. So.
All right.
But I'm also fine with just doing breach damage, 2 breaches to your weapons, because that would really fuck your weapons up.
Does indeed fuck our weapons up. In fact, we cannot use our weapons until somebody spends a minor action to repair.
So I will do the dose breaches to your weapons first. And then she's out of actions for attacking. Yep, your turn. Go ahead.
I think Scylla is going to move the ship to evasive actions, evasive maneuvers.
Okay.
Because we're being messed up. So That was control plus helm. That is 2 successes. So I succeed. So difficulty to attack is increased by 1. Difficulty to be hit is also increased by 1.
Okay, cool. Back to me. The Europa begins to veer off, still having the Klingon ship in the tractor beam, trying to keep it from going, and possibly maneuver it in such a way using the tractor beam to keep it from being able to fire as effectively. As part of your flight maneuver, the second Klingon ship is now in range, or is in long range, I should say, or medium range, whatever. It has moved forward 1 range category, and is going to attack the fighters. It is an NPC ship. It doesn't get a whole lot of specialness to it. Oh, not a great roll. That is going to miss. The fighters are under attack, though,
Okay.
by the second Klingon ship. That brings us back to you guys. I'm not sure you. This will be your third action. The ship gets total of 5, right?
Yes. Yeah, the ship scale is 5.
Should actually should be your 4th, right? Because you did we'll just say it's 3. It's fine.
The Peregrines get their own action, so that should not count against the ship.
No, yeah, it does. That doesn't count. No, there was originally an attack run action done, so that's 1. But I'm going to count that as a previous turn. So
Okay. Yeah. Because Silvic shouldn't have been able to go again if that was the
correct.
case.
Yeah,
I
right.
assumed that was before combat had initiated. So I think we have 2 left because I used Jorad Hages to direct. So Mills still gets her action. That was Jorad's action to our last shot.
Right.
Mhm.
Silva's gone once. Hage has gone once. You should have. This is the 3rd action.
Yeah.
So you have this one plus 2 more.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Mills is waiting to be able to board as soon as we get the go ahead that their shields are down. The team is ready.
Right.
Fong, I assume, is also waiting on that to actually transport them.
Right.
We could have Kostra do some damage control or work on the shields.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
We've got what shields and sensors that need a little love right now.
Shields, sensors, and weapons all need some love.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a minor action for him to get the shield, the weapons back up and running.
Mhm.
At least to get rid of the disabled.
Right.
And then he'll regenerate shields.
Okay.
It is a difficulty
2, I think.
I think it's difficulty 1, and then you get bonuses.
I have ship actions, but it's not one of the ship actions I have.
It's difficulty 1, and then you regenerate 2 if successful, and then you get more if you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it.
224.
Yeah. Fuck. That's 1 success, so we do regenerate 2.
It does say assisted by the ship's structure plus engineering.
That is true.
So the ship does get a roll.
A 5, and that will be a that would be 1 additional success.
Okay. So that's 5. We're back up to 5.
And that
Back up.
that
You're back
generate-
up. You're back up by 5, right? Because you were not down to 0.
No, we took 9.
Right.
And
So
then,
you're back to 5. Okay.
Did that generate a momentum?
No,
The
because
ship's
we used-
assistance?
because we used it to regenerate the shields.
Okay.
It did generate momentum. It was spent to regenerate shields.
Gotcha. For that plus 2
Correct.
is what you're saying. Gotcha.
Yeah, for each momentum spent. So we could spend more momentum if we want to regenerate more shields.
You have 1 momentum. You have 1 additional momentum that is in your pool.
Actually, it's 2 additional points, so we're actually up to 6. And then I say we spend that other momentum. That'll bring us back to up to 8. Is everybody cool with that?
Sure. I mean, I have very few dogs in this fight. My main character is down on the planet.
Right. So you're gonna go ahead and use it. So you're down. The ship's only down 2, right?
Yep. Well, down 3. We're
Down
at
3.
8 of 11.
Right. I got sidetracked in my thought. In my mathing. All right. With that in mind, that is your action, and your minor action was to get weapons back online, correct?
Mhm.
All right. My next action is going to be very similar to that. So give me 1 quick roll here. Oh, geez, that's a terrible roll. I'm going to go ahead and spend my momentum, or my threat there. Roll another die on that one. Bink. Nice.
Jack, I like how you're having your own little conversation with yourself in the Twitch chat.
Right.
Yeah.
I would, but I'm busy mathing. I was going to join you, but
yeah.
I was busy mathing.
Sometimes I get other people. Sometimes I get some viewers to chime in.
I think we're the only ones in here today.
There were more earlier, but we're down to
No.
just 2 people now. So, all right. The shields on the Klingon ship regenerate slightly. Not a whole lot. It's a pretty shitty roll. And that brings us back around to your guys' next action. And then, let's see. This is a size 5 ship. This is a size 5 ship. So you guys have 2 more actions, and I have 2 more actions. What you do next?
There's really nothing else we can do.
Yeah, he says,
Right.
We can scan for weaknesses. With
yeah, your sensors are offline.
Yeah,
though,
you've got. Oh, right.
You could spend a minor action and then they're back online, and then
Right.
you can still scan. So easily fixed.
Is
Right.
there anything that the SSH can do? I'm not really sure where he exists and how much access to the ship he has as the quartermaster.
He could be manning the security oversight station, which really only matters if we're boarded, but that might come up.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. He'll be
No,
there.
it is a good plan.
Okay. If you want to go ahead and do the sensor roll, you can do that. That's something that O'Connor can do. Minor action to get your shields back or your sensors back working, and then do the scan for weakness.
Yeah.
And you could also do a med bay scene if you wanted to. Once per scene, may attempt to bolster a department that has suffered a breach.
Yeah.
For your last one.
We don't have any PCs in the med bay.
No, but it's still a generic roll.
Sure.
So.
Well, let's do. So Connor's gonna do the scanning. Is she also doing the bringing them back online, or do we have like random engineer 12 doing that?
It would be your for action economy of the game. You can be whoever you want, but it requires your minor action.
Yeah.
Like either you're directing someone to do it or you're doing it yourself. But it uses up your minor action.
You can do that. I need to roll for that.
For the minor action, you don't. For the scan, the sensors.
For the scan, I do.
Yeah.
All right, and
you're basically just hitting a button, sending damage control teams off to the sensor suite to get things back working again, and then promptly electrocuting them all when you scan with the sensors.
They'll be fine. It's all part of the training, right? All right. What am I rolling for the sensors? You want control, reason?
Control plus science. Difficulty
control
1.
science. All right. That is a 13.
I don't have the difficulties in front of me, but yeah.
I can copy and paste it if you like.
Nah, it's all right. I have a cheat sheet for it somewhere. I just haven't opened them.
Will my computer analysis systems apply here? No.
Sure.
Sure? Okay. We take that.
You're analyzing the computer data that they're, emitting.
Okay.
I guess. Something like that. 3 successes.
Take that.
The ship,
And the ship
also-
helps.
Yeah, it's sensors plus security for the ship. Which you think it'd be science, but
Yeah, the ship is no help.
No.
She's busy trying to find a cure for the.
Right.
so you
But
succeed by
we'll take that 3.
okay. So the difficulty was 1, so you succeeded. So it'll do an additional damage. Our next attack will do an additional damage, and we gain the piercing 2 quality.
Right.
Also, you generate a bonus momentum.
Okay.
Or not a bonus momentum, just a regular momentum.
Difficulty was 1, right? So you ended up with 2 momentum.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
But
so I was presuming one of those 2 momentum was what was giving us the piercing 2.
No.
No, that's just what the ability does.
Yep.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
With you.
Which is nice.
Yes, indeed.
My turn again. This is just be a fast roll. Go ahead and get ready. You guys can go ahead and plan your next roll because you can't physically see what they're doing. So
Okay. Well,
That
now I
puts
really
us
do
top of
think
the
that-
round, right? That's our 5.
Yeah.
the next
Okay.
one's your 5.
Mm,
Like we're on your 5th one now.
okay. Got you.
So you could do like you have one other minor action. Like you could do the you can either skip it or whatever, or you can do the like the med bay thing or whatever you want to do.
You know what? I think the captain will rally, actually. I can do that. No, I
Okay.
can't. I've already acted this round. Never mind.
Yeah, that's the problem is that you guys don't have a lot of characters that can do
Wait,
stuff
no,
at the
we
moment.
have it. No. No. I mean, the problem was that whole thing was so confusing with the thing.
Could we have I'm trying to think what we got. Could we have Tong do something that would kind of like bolster the transporters and make it easier to pull us back quickly if we hit an emergency, or if they like tried to toss shields up or something like that?
You could do a create advantage for the transporting out.
Okay.
Yeah, if this is the last action of our turn and
Yeah.
he's not going to be needed to transport until the turn rolls over, yeah, he can do something like that.
Sure.
It's
It's just a basic create advantage. I don't have that in front of me either, but
Those are usually difficulty 2 for 1 advantage.
right. So you would roll
Okay.
daring or control, and I'm guessing engineering. It was probably control and engineering difficulty 2.
Control, engineering. I, of course, have a focus in transporters.
Right. Man, you guys getting a lot of ones.
All right.
It's a day of ones.
Nice. It is a
So we
far
get a
cry
momentum.
from what we normally get.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you gain momentum, and you have advantage when beaming them out of danger. When beaming the next thing you beam out of danger, be it them or Ambrose or whatever. Back to the top of the round. PCs get to go first.
Okay.
So that could be either Shijin or the Shijin and the fighters or the Europa. You guys can decide which. It doesn't matter.
I think Eugene should go first.
Sure, we can
Yeah.
stick with that. Now, I did manage to pull up the fighter rules you showed us a few weeks ago. It says if I have a co-pilot, which I assume Peregrine's C2, that Shijin would have a co-pilot.
I was operating under the impression that they currently do not have co-pilots, but if you want to use it, that's fine. I didn't account for co-pilots, but it's totally fine if you want to do it.
Well, it's built into the rules you created.
No, I'm aware of that. The ship themselves generally don't have 2 seats.
Yeah, they do.
We've
They've always been shown with 2
It depends
seats.
on which rules you're looking at, like
Okay,
which ship
I suppose.
which ship you're looking at, because some of the ones in the books, again, like there's like 3 different versions of the ship in the book. and I forget where that one went.
I checked the operations. There's no fighters in there.
I'm pretty sure there's one
Did you
somewhere.
mean
The crew.
book?
What's that?
Did you mean
The command book is what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the crew complement is 1 or 2 on the Maquis fighter, which is the stats we're currently using. So yes.
I assume that pretty much every ship has at least 2 seats. I mean, if you look at the Delta Flyer, which is basically the closest thing to a legit fighter that's ever been shown
it's
in Star Trek, it has many seats.
Yeah, it's the most Mary Sued ship there has ever been made in a Starship show. But yes, I agree with you.
I found the Federation fighter. It says 1 or 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I posted stats.
Yeah.
cool.
But
So
for the
I
moment, we're
can-
just using the one out of the main book, the Maquis fighter. So
right. So I can take a non-combat action as well as a combat action. I assume that requires 2.
it is 2 separate
Passes.
actions. So
Yeah.
yes, correct.
But since we barely managed to use all our passes last round, I mean, how do we feel about that? I could set up. I could just set up an attack run and just keep trying to pepper these shields down.
If you can get the shields down, that would allow us we would be able to launch torpedoes at it. And launching torpedoes against an unarmored ship is very, very successful.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you're saying we probably don't have the time for me to set up an attack pattern. You want the shields down.
That I don't,
Now.
that's up to you whether you think it's worth the attack pattern.
Yeah, it's really just dependent on how you want to do your action economy.
Keep in mind your defense will go down by 1 if you do.
That is true, and I can't imagine fighters have. Well, I do get extra shields because I have so many ships.
Right.
But when you say defense goes down, all attacks made by the ship reduce in difficulty by 1, then gain bonus momentum. Am I missing something here?
I think small graft also go up by 1. The difficulty to hit them goes up by 1.
It does.
So, yeah. So it would honestly just be bringing you in line.
Yes, you would be a difficulty 2 to hit is what it would be. And remember that you only have a base of 3 shields plus your 4 additional
Plus
shields.
4, yeah. So I have 7 shields.
Right. And I'm rolling at least 12 dice when I'm firing phasers.
Yeah, that's true. Where are you seeing this?
Attack pattern. You take a course that makes it easier to target the enemy. Attempt a daring plus con. Difficulty 1. If successful, until your next turn, all attacks made by your ships and all. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Not bad.
All attacks made by the ship. It doesn't say anything about other ships firing at me.
Okay, you're right. I think I was getting you confused.
I thought that attack pattern did make it easier for you to be hit because you're making an aggressive attack. I could have swore that was written somewhere.
That's not under attack pattern. I know evasive action makes it difficult to fire, but attack pattern doesn't make you any more likely to be hit, at least according.
Evasive action doesn't make it harder for you to hit either.
No.
Yeah, they're just
And all attacks made. Yeah. No.
I screwed up somewhere. I'm sorry.
Okay. Either way.
Yes. So we don't have enough information on this ship to really know how they're doing, right?
They don't look. I mean, their shields are still up. So
Yeah.
and I spent actions to recover their shields. So they're not full, but they're definitely still up. Their shields are at, let's see, if I do the math real quick in my head, their shields are at about 50%.
All right. And this really feels like an uphill battle.
It's really just been about rolls. Like, you guys are pretty evenly matched with the fighters. You outmatch them.
Yeah, I think she's going to set up for an attack pattern. I think that makes sense. So we're gonna so that's a daring plus con.
Difficulty 1.
difficulty 2.
I mean, I believe you. I got to run before. No, difficulty 1.
Sensors.
You guys looking at the same book as I am?
It might not be. Yeah,
All right. So if attack pattern is difficulty requires 1 power, its difficulty of 2 is a daring and con roll, with a ship assist of weapons and con.
Oh, my rules are pulled from the Klingon book because they're better laid out. But
Gotcha.
yeah, might see that in core book.
That's really disconcerting that between the 2 books there are different rules.
Yes. Technically, having talked to Jim, the guy who does the rule stuff, the Klingon book is technically the more correct rules, but I don't have the book in front of me, and I do have cheat sheets for the other book, so we're using that one.
Okay.
So attack pattern difficulty requires 1 power, difficulty of 2, daring, con, weapons, and con assisting.
Okay.
Remembering that your shuttle does only have a limited amount of power.
Yes. I should will either be blown up or back in the shuttle bay before I use up all 4 of my power.
Well, yep, you're down 1 now, so.
Boom.
Nice.
And would the ship still assist weapons plus con?
Don't see
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's an 8. And the weapons con is 6, 7, 8. So there you go. It
4
assists.
successes. So that generates 2 momentum from this attack run.
Correct.
Awesome.
Okay. It is my turn. I have 2 momentum. I have 2 threat currently. Now that I have my combat reference sheets open, am going to disable that tractor beam for sure's. For surezies. Spend 1 to roll 3 dice. And then need to roll. Squiggle. 1, 8, 11. That is 4 successes. 1, 2,
5.
3, 4. I'll spend my last threat to gain a success. And I will have 5.
Fine.
But I'm out of threat now, so the tractor beam is disabled, which does not, I think, do any damage to the ship. At least I don't have that in front of me, so I'm gonna assume it doesn't do any real damage. Just there's a blast. The tractor beam is disabled. I'm gonna assume it can't be re-enabled right away because I hit it with my phasers to disable it.
Yeah, it just disables. There's no damage to the ship itself.
Right. But I would imagine there should be, thematically speaking, when you're firing phasers at a tractor beam, there probably should be damage to the tractor beam. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to cloak and go away here in a second anyway.
Yeah, you better run.
You do get 1 turn, though.
You do get 1 turn because I don't have any threat to keep my momentum. So, with that in mind, you have 1 action to do either Europa or the fighters. Your choice.
So, here's what I'm thinking. We roll to attack. Hopefully we take down the shields. Then we get our borders on with by buying threat. We could do it. If we roll well enough, we could do it.
They could also cloak with your people aboard.
Yeah, but I trust our people.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they can disable the cloaking device.
So do you want to use the Europa for that, or is this the fighter run?
Europa's guns are bigger.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
Although at the moment with the attack run, I'm not sure that's true.
I mean, it'll do more damage in any case.
Because what did the attack run gain you?
The attack run reduces the difficulty of all attacks by 1.
Okay.
That's
and
all
we
it
have
does.
piercing 2 with our scan.
Yeah. So
with the scan.
Yeah, the Europa is going to do more damage for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So let's do it. Can I do? Can I do a direct again, like I did before, so I can assist with the command?
sure.
Okay. So we're rolling with the NPC. So I'm not sure what their skills are, but you might want to roll with them. For me, fuck. Are you fucking serious?
Oh, sad panda.
Wow.
No.
I'm gonna not take my threat yet. I might do something else. Evelyn, go ahead and roll to attack.
Here we go. That's 2 successes.
Okay.
Which does succeed at the difficulty.
It does. succeed in the
And
difficulty.
the ship doesn't help on that, right?
It does.
It does. Okay.
Does, yeah.
The ship helps with most combat rolls.
Okay.
And
Yay.
that counts as 2.
Alright, so that's
Yeah, it's
4.
always focused.
All right, and then we're rolling 8 dice.
Oh, wait,
We determined,
hang on.
right?
9 because of the scan.
It does count as 2. Yeah.
9 because of the scan. Okay.
Mine is 2 because you guys rolled too many last time.
Okay. So
All right.
7. We're rolling 7 dice. Going once, going twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
All right.
It's just fair to even out the damage
Change
from before.
this number.
So
There we go. All right. So
I think I'm gonna just go ahead and take my 2 threat for that one because I need that threat.
2, 3
You have 3 successes and an effect.
in effect.
When you
wanna-
roll, use the
we've
thing.
got-
It does the math for you. So
Yeah, but I don't have the thing on my sheet.
oh, you rolled 7d6. It did the math for you. D6s are always the same.
I see. I see where you're looking. Never mind.
Mhm.
All right. We have 5 momentum. Anybody complain if I spend that to try and get a better?
Do it.
Because that is a
Oh.
crap-tastic roll.
We get the bonus momentum first. So use one of
You-
those.
The 2 from versatility is that you get first.
Right.
All right. Well, let's use one of those then.
Yep.
Yep.
Roll, damn it. There you go.
7 and 2 effects.
Much
Better.
better.
We'll take that. And then 2d20 for the effects. Is that what we're doing?
No, effects
No.
don't do. It really do. Effects don't do anything for you at the moment. You can
Where
zero
were-
it.
allow-
where were we rolling d20s? I was getting very
was earlier.
confused.
That was
They'll-
earlier.
Okay, that is not a thing I
So-
need to worry about now.
The basic breakdown
Alright.
is you roll 2 d20s or however many d20s you roll to make the attack. Once the attack is successfully
Right, got
made,
that.
then you roll d6s. You don't roll d20s after that.
No, we rolled d20s for some sort of something on a chart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Breaches.
That's for
Breaches.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Which we'll get to that in a second.
All
We
right.
we already have piercing 2. So
got
resistance
piercing
goes down
2.
by 2. We'll spend another momentum to decrease the resistance by another 2.
Okay.
Then we'll spend the rest of the momentum from the overage of the roll to do an extra 2 damage. So that's 9 damage with for
The rest of the momentum where? I spent 1. We had 2 momentum.
You got 2 momentum for versatility
Right.
because you succeeded. That's 2
Right.
bonus momentum, and you got 2 momentum for the ship rolling under its focus, and then you got 2
Okay.
successes from your roll. So Brian's right. Just
All right. Okay.
so you've got 2 momentum. That adds 2 damage. That is 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
resistance is
4.
reduced
Piercing
by
2.
4.
Yep. It has a resistance of 1 remaining.
Yeah.
So you did 8 damage,
Okay.
and that's unless you have anything else. That's where we're at. 8 damage.
No. Is that enough to reduce its shields to 0?
I have to look. Hang on.
Okay.
This is where
That
things
is
get
exactly enough to reduce its damage to 0, which
Perfect.
counts as
Yay.
which counts as a second breach. So you now have 2 breaches as well. So now roll 2d20.
All right.
A 15 and a 12.
15 and 12. That is both to structure.
Okay. Not a big deal on structure. So now, with that in mind, you have 5 momentum, And it is my turn unless you do something to.
Actually, it is a big deal on structure, because structure has its own thing. If the ship's structure suffers any breaches, roll a challenge die. If an effect is rolled, a random main or supporting character suffers a lethal injury.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, if you don't want it,
yeah, that's fine.
I don't want that used against us.
Right?
Oh no, well it will be, but I mean, I'm trying to decide. There's only 2 main characters on that ship, so.
Sure, I'm just saying, could have been important.
Yeah.
But no effect was rolled, so no, doesn't do anything.
So the plan was to spend momentum to keep the initiative, right?
Yes.
And transport the away team.
Yes. And so the core rulebook does not have rules for boarding, but the Klingon book does. I already posted them.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I use those rules?
Where do they post them at?
I posted them in Discord. They were the first thing I posted tonight. It's not incredibly readable. Let me copy this and I'll post it
There
again.
it is.
There, that's a bit more readable.
I mean, you're sending PCs over.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to do it differently, that's fine.
Like, I don't have a problem doing some of that, like as an overall, but you sending PCs over, there's a high risk that they're going to die.
I mean,
You're sending over.
supporting-
What's that?
We're sending over supporting characters.
Still.
It's still characters. I'm just saying, there's a high chance that they're going to die.
Sure.
Because this is a real Klingon ship.
Yeah.
It's a real Klingon ship with cybernetically enhanced super soldiers.
Right.
I mean, I think we should still do it. If y'all disagree,
Ambrose is not here to point out how ridiculously dangerous this is.
Basically, I would allow you to make the roll, but we're going to have to play some things out to see what actually ends up happening. Like as far as who survives and who doesn't.
okay.
Um,
The attempt a task using your ship's weapons plus security, assisted by my presence and command, which works completely different than any other role in the game. Yeah, because I want them to sabotage the cloaking device. If they sabotage the cloaking device,
We are. Where are you going?
It's not resisted. That should be a resisted action.
it is. It's opposed by the enemy ship's structure plus security.
I don't see that. Oh, enemy boarding. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Wait a minute. No, I don't. Where's it at? I can't. I'm having a hard time reading it because my eyes are no good. My eyes are trash.
I mean, if you open original, it'll open it as bigger if you're looking at Discord.
Choose a system on a ship that has a boarding party on board. Attempt a task using your ship's weapons plus security assisted by your presence plus command opposed by the enemy ship's structure plus security. If successful, you inflict a breach to the target system.
Structure plus security. I gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't say you can use it on the cloaking device because the cloaking device is a talent, not technically a system. So,
sure, but it's fine. I get what you're going for. And thematically, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. So,
all right, go ahead and make your roll if you want to do it.
All right.
We are taking phaser rifles.
Okay, so I gain a threat.
Yep.
Which I'm probably going to use to get batleths and
2 for the ship. That is 3 successes. My command to assist is another success.
Okay. I'm going to spend one of those.
I should have added die. Oh well.
Let's see. structure and security. So that's a 12. No, wait, 8, 9, 10, 12. 13. It's a 13. So. And roll. 12, 8, 1. So that is 4 successes.
Balls.
All right. You beam over. We'll get to that in a second. Tong, you do, as you recall, have an advantage to beam them the shit out. Once, if it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, try to figure out how I want to do this because the ship should get a combat round and then we should go into actual combat. Oh, slow. So first things first, the ship is going to the Klingons are going to cloak and begin moving off. That is their ship action. They will go to warp in their next action, which they can't do this turn, but they can do next turn. With that in mind, let's go ahead and do Mills and Company.
Yep.
Koba and Mills and a bunch of NPCs who are probably all going to get murdered.
Probably.
Let's see. I have a Klingon room here. Let's do Klingon Catwalk B. Why not? Let's do Catwalk B. You're fighting in this little area here,
Okay.
and this is not at all. Just I didn't scale it properly. So there you go. Have fun with that.
Yay.
As you are the first to beam in, your action is the ship's action was to beam you in, so that's not part of your action. I will allow you guys to make an attack. While you're in there, you will see a D6 worth of Klingons. 1d6 worth of Klingons. Oop. 6 Klingons. Holy shit! All right. So in that room, there are 6 Klingons, which is probably the reason why this roll didn't succeed for you guys. But you get to act first. You have your phaser rifles. It is Koba and Mills, and then the NPCs. You guys can choose how you want to proceed.
Okay. Order them to fire on the Klingons.
Okay. I mean, which one he wants? Basically, you get to fire. Which one he wants to fire first?
Oh, gotcha.
Who wants to make the fateful roll? Is what I'm saying.
We'll let Koba do it.
Koba.
I'm gonna hold back for a minute.
I want to see Koba go raring forward, like,
Oh.
fuck, screw this phaser, and pulls out a knife and goes and murders.
God.
I'll spend
No.
momentum.
Momentum is spent.
Assuming my hand phasers applies.
Yes.
That is
2
yeah,
successes.
2 successes. Yeah.
That hits.
Okay.
I did change the way these NPCs worked. I don't know if I told you guys that. They don't take 4 damage anymore. So they're just 2.
Cool beans.
But I did add some other things to them. So
Awesome. The damage on a, let's see, his phaser D4. Whoop. It's 4 dice plus his security, which is,
I'm guessing 5, so 9 dice.
yeah, it is 5. 9 dice.
Nine D6 is, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2 effects. So 9 damage and 2 effects. You didn't specify you were doing charge or anything like that, so
No, I did not.
I don't have the weapon in front of me because I don't have the. I need to get the screen down here when I'm doing this game. Where's my Klingons at? 9 damage to the Klingon minus his resistance is still an injury. I am going to use the threat to automatically avoid the injury. Still, yeah. So that's yeah. Anyway, so he avoids the injury. He gets a blast next to him. You hit the wall next to him, and like a shower of sparks as the council explodes and burns his face. So he's got the complication of plasma burns. My turn.
Mm-hmm.
The first Klingon is going to go hand to hand with Koba. That was not what I did not roll those dice. Hang on. 2 dice, because I don't have any threat left to do anything. Goes hand to hand on the Kobas. And that is 1 success. You can, in hand to hand, you can counter.
Two successes.
2 successes. So you manage to counter, and you can knock the Klingon back if you want. Hit him. You can hit him with the butt of your phaser rifle.
So I believe that's still an unarmed attack. So
yes, it still counts as an armed attack.
Yeah. So 6 damage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage, and you have 2 effects. You can use an effect to knock down.
I will use that effect to knock down. Although I do feel compelled to mention the Klingons get a extra resistance against non-lethal.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
I have factored in their resistance.
Gotcha. Okay.
They actually have a resistance quite a bit higher because of the cybernetics and everything too.
That's fair.
So you don't really do any damage. Well, you did how much damage? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. So you don't really do a whole lot of damage, but you can knock him down.
Can I knock him into that that pit? Because the non-OSHA compliant pit.
Yes,
And say this catwalk's very Sithy. No handrails.
I'm gonna give you a yes on that because I think it's good. I will do that.
Cool. So Koba has like his rifle, is holding in his hand, and he just lets out a and runs.
The Klingon comes up and brings his bat left down on you. You manage to block it with the face rifle, and then knock him over and shout after him. It is now your turn. Koba has already acted.
I will fire on the next Klingon.
Okay. There are 5 Klingons left.
All right. I am bad at this, and I was looking for where the hell I'm supposed to roll.
So you're rolling daring and security.
Okay.
Or no, sorry, you're using a phase rifle, so it's control and security.
Control
Difficulty
security.
is 2.
Same.
You might want to use charge first.
You may want to use charge first.
You can switch.
I was actually going to do aim.
Oh, okay.
You can do aim as well. So, or not as well, but you can do aim. Yes.
Right. Instead.
Yes.
Where is charge? Oh, there it is. Charge is probably the better option. We'll do
that vicious is very
Yeah.
nice.
All right. I need like 4 more monitors.
Mhm.
God damn. All right.
The
Control
other one that would be
security.
good to have is intense. Intense is pretty good. Okay. Control and security, difficulty 2.
Yeah, intense would be really good too. Cost to avoid injury. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's do intense instead.
Okay.
He's got no threat, so he wouldn't be able to buy it.
Yep. I did give them a talent that was supposed to be they can do 1 avoid injury for free, but then I spent the momentum to do it last time, so I forgot. So I will do it this time, which means he won't be able to do it.
Okay.
I can't do it. Basically, if you do intense, I can't avoid the injury for that character. For that
NPC. Okay. And I am fine with the plasma, the rifle. And that's only 1.
1 success. That is a failure.
Yep.
So you shoot, and you just barely miss the Klingon as he kind of dodges out of the way. He then pulls out his Well, I've already spent the threat for Batleth, so he just charges you with a Batleth.
Okay.
Which is an opposed hand-to-hand combat roll. Your daring and security versus his daring and security. Or if you want to just dodge and not fight back, it's daring and fitness.
Oh no, we will fight back.
Which changes the difficulty to whatever your difficulty is.
Okay. So my daring and security is still a 14, and my hand-to-hand will count for this.
Yes, they also have hand-to-hand.
I will take all of those successes.
I got the same number of successes.
Rude.
4 and 4. So, on that note, they hit because they're the attacker. So they do not get any momentum though. So it is just damage, and the damage they do is crap. Give me 1 second. I didn't math them together correctly. Where are you, Klingon? Oh, there you are. Come back, Klingon. He does with a Batleth. Why is Batleth not listed there? Oh, it would be 8 damage. They do 8 damage. 7 damage, sorry.
Okay. And I just
7.
take that as straight damage. That does not.
No.
there's
I
nothing
roll.
that-
I roll.
Okay.
I roll 7 damage, and then I have
Got
vicious.
you.
So sorry.
You
That's
roll 7 dice to
7
determine how
dice.
much
Right.
damage you do.
yes. 1, 2, 3, plus vicious of 2, so 5.
Okay.
Because that's a cripe roll. You're very lucky. Take
Yeah, I'm
5.
very lucky.
That would also be an injury because you don't have resistance. I don't think Batleths do anything special with damage. It just costs. They just do more damage, and they have escalation, which I spent the thing for already. I don't think they like do bone crushing injuries or do double your breaches or anything like that stuff. So you are at 1 injury. You can either attempt to avoid the injury, spending the momentum you have, or you are done for the round. Done without spending momentum. Without spending determination.
Using the momentum.
Yeah, we're using the momentum.
Okay. And it is 2 momentum to decide to avoid injury, I believe. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes, 2 to avoid injury. So he comes down. He brings down his Batleth, and I can choose a complication. Let's see what I want with that complication. As you go to block with the phaser rifle, the Batleth, and as he does, you can feel the popping in your shoulder, and you it's not broken, but it's definitely like it's probably dislocated.
Yeah,
it's not doing good.
it's not where it
And
belongs.
the phaser rifle is sparking a bit, but it's still functional.
Okay.
But you now have a complication, which will increase your difficulty for tasks by 1.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So it is now your turn. You have NPCs who can go, and then my NPCs can go. And since we're going to use Brian's role as a guide for what happens, we're going to say that you said 3 more red shirts and an engineer, right?
Yep.
Or was it 2 more red shirts and we'll say 3 more red shirts and an
3.
engineer. And there are still 3 unused Klingons. With that in mind, I'm going to say that one of the Klingons runs forward with his Batleth in hand and severs the head of one of your guys.
Okay.
One of their Klingons runs forward and gets countered by the engineer. So the engineer is still okay. However, the Klingon doesn't get knocked down. He just the engineer blocks with his little plastic suitcase thing that he's got that's got whatever tools light up that he needs.
Mhm.
And the batleth sticks into it and is like all the way through the thing. And then so the Klingon then like, rips his, jerks the weapon back and just throws his batleth to the side and pulls out his Doctang for the next round. Doesn't do anything this round. And then the third Klingon and the last, or not the last, but the other one of your other red shirts, yellow shirts, whatever, they begin grappling, and the two of them grapple over the edge, and they're both fall into the OSHA unsafe pit. So you're down to one engineer, one yellow shirt, the two of you, and three Klingons. How many? There were 6, so 4 Klingons.
Okay.
Back to the top of the round, it is your turn. Koba or Mills may go.
Go ahead, Koba. I'm good with keeping the initiative.
Koba will he'll switch his phaser rifle to heavy and or to vicious, and he'll say, I love the smell of phaser fire in the morning, and then he'll
Smote a Klingon.
yeah, but I think he'll go for the one that's well, no, he won't want to hit Mills, but he'll fire one of the other ones. It's a target rich environment.
Yes,
So
you can certainly get one that doesn't have a complication of being in close quarters with somebody else.
yeah, you know what? I'm going to change it to intense.
It's charge. You can decide after your roll. I don't really care.
All right.
So
that is 2 successes.
Why'd you roll twice? Doesn't matter. The 5 is 2 successes, so that counts. You hit.
So 9.
Burnination. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. That's a shitload of damage. Well done. That is after his resistance. So what are you doing with your charge? Did you want to do
Intense?
Intense. All right. With intense, he can't automatically for free buy off his avoid injury, so he takes an injury. Only takes 1 though because his resistance is enough. So he takes 1 injury, and he falls to the ground.
Okay.
My turn. I have 3 Klingons who are still up. One of my Klingons is going to turn and he's going to attack Koba again. And this time I will. It's batleths. We're just doing all batleths. It's going to be gruesome. And batleth. I batleth him. No, stop doing that. Just roll that. Batleth. 4 and a 7. That is 3 successes. Against
2 successes.
2 successes. So I gain 1 momentum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what I'm going to use that momentum for. I will find that out in a second. Let's roll damage. It is 7 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3. Affects the batleth. I had it here a second ago. Where did it go? The batleth is vicious of 1, so that is 8 damage. Is that what I said? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Yes. So 8 damage, and I'm going to use my 1 momentum that I have to do a bonus damage. So 9 damage.
Okay. I will give you 2 threat to avoid the injury.
Okay. So 9 damage. You still take the Yeah, you still take the health. Yeah. Just making sure that I'm not wrong because I've been doing it for the NPCs. I just want to make sure that I'm actually still right. So yes, you take this time, Koba. You managed to block with the phaser again. Can the complication be basically anything I want? It can it?
Which
Within reason.
You take a complication for you avoiding the injury, don't you?
Oh, I think I get to choose what it is.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. I was just going to give you one, but you can take it if you want. You can choose if you want to.
Yeah, I'll take gut slashed.
Okay. So you block with the phaser, and as you do, he kind of like just adjusts the batleth out of the way, and then swipes his batleth across your guttal region, and essentially disembowels you, but not really to the deathly point, to the point where you're okay. I don't know what that.
I think
he guts you to the okay part of your body.
Sure.
Doesn't quite perforate the viscera.
Right. But it certainly is not comfortable.
It's
All
not
right.
comfortable.
It's not comfortable. It hurts a lot. That's 2 rounds. Oh wait, no. Mill still gets to go, right? So that goes back to you guys.
All right. Mil Satong, get us out of here.
Okay.
All right. Your difficulty is going to be. I'm going to say your difficulty is going to be 2 because it would have been 3 for the situation. Situationally, it would have been 3, but you have advantage, so would reduce it by 1. So it's 2. I'm spending 2 threat to increase the complication range. So it's 18, 19, 20.
So a range of 3.
Correct.
Okay. You said difficulty 2 because of the advantage.
Correct.
Okay. Focus and transporters, obviously. We don't have any momentum.
You can buy it with
left.
threat.
I can buy with threat. I mean, yeah, I might as well.
You haven't generated any threat yet.
That's true. My threat generator is down on the planet twiddling his thumbs.
Did you want to do 1, or do you want to take more? Remembering the more dice you have, the more chance you have of rolling a complication.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take the 1 unless we think it would be beneficial for me to roll 4 dice. But I'm looking at a 16 or lower with 3 dice and a focus. I'm good with that.
Okay. Make the roll.
Okay. Oh wait,
nice.
I get another.
Oh, nice!
So you need to roll 1 more.
Yeah, I need to roll another dice.
All right.
All right. So that's 3 successes.
You had 2
and a
successes
complication.
anyways.
Yeah.
But you had 3 successes and a complication. So
a momentum and a complication.
A momentum and a complication.
Which is perfect.
So you lock on and start beaming them out. And a transporter scrambler begins.
One hell of a complication.
Yeah, I don't think does it negate it?
It does not negate it. I'm going to roll 2d6. If it gets I'm going to roll 1d6 because this isn't really that important. You did succeed. If I get an effect, I will say it affects one of the 2 main characters. Quote unquote main characters. It did not. So, as you're beaming them out, you start losing Koba, but Tong and his infinite abilities does some power transfer and managed to get Koba back just in the nick of time. And you have everyone back.
Medical team to transporter pad C, please, immediately injured, please.
The medical team acknowledges and is on our way. With that, Europa may go. Europa or the shuttles may go.
We still have that attack run from the shuttles. I could I don't know, try to specifically target someplace important.
They are moved off, so they're no longer in range of the shuttlecraft. To be fair, you'd have to move the shuttle into range.
That's a oh no, that's a full action, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I do see the shuttles have medium range. They've already gone too far.
No, they should have been. I think I'm looking at the other. I was thinking. Well, I think when I was thinking that, I was looking at a different ship that they only had short range. But yeah, you should be able to do medium range.
Well, that's just a possibility. Brian, you were going to say something.
Well, I was going to say I looked up the rules for detecting a cloaked vessel. It's difficulty 5. We could try and get it back, but it would be difficult.
Right, they did cloak.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to bring that up. But we do have that other Klingon vessel to deal with if we want to concentrate on that.
There is a second Klingon ship.
Yeah.
And it is in range of whatever you want to do. They're basically in short range.
Yeah, so if Shijin lost target lock on the Wrath, she would focus on the other ship, but
sure,
that's just what she will do when she's able to. If somebody else has something more pressing to take care of.
Well, we can't attack, so I think you should just go ahead and do it.
Okay, do it. You do not have your attack run on that ship though, because your attack run was specifically set up for the other ship.
Right.
The attack run says
all attacks made by the ship.
Okay, sure.
I mean,
it makes sense for it to be against the whatever one ship, whatever your target was, but it doesn't really matter. It's an NPC ship at this point.
Yeah, I mean, because combat time in this game is so nebulous, I feel like you could just immediately veer off and keep the attack run on a new ship.
Yeah,
it's more. I imagine it's more whether she is able to actually engage the maneuvers than it is, solidly focusing on one specific target. For the sake of just simplicity and the fact of cinematics, it's fine. Okay, switching over to Shijin. All right, so this is. I need to scroll up to scroll down to how attacks are made. Let's check the sheet. I think it's easier to check the sheet. So this would be
it's difficulty 2.
Control security difficulty 2, right?
Correct. Yep. Fighting with a ship's weapons works just like fighting with regular weapons.
Right.
It's complicated, but it's consistent.
Difficulty 1 because the attack run reduces it by 1.
Right.
Okay. She doesn't have any fancy abilities because she's still just a secondary character. So yeah, I guess I'll roll. That is the one success I needed. So that is 7 die because I still have 3 ships, right?
4 ships, but yes.
4 ships, yeah. Or 6 ships total. An additional
Correct.
4 plus the 2 base. So that is my 7 dice.
So 5 damage and 3 effects.
And we generate 2 momentum because of Versatile 2.
Right. 2 momentum, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So how do you want to use the momentum?
I think penetrating. Where is that?
It's 2.
Reducing resistances. That costs 2. I think.
No, it costs 1, but it reduces by 2.
1 reduces by 2. Is that a ship we recognize, or is that also one of the new fancy ones?
It's one of the new ones.
Okay. Yeah, we know that has a lot of resistance, so I still don't think there's any way I can map this out to actually do a breach.
With 2 momentum, no. With 3 momentum, You would do.
if we use all 3 momentum, I could do.
You could do 1 breach.
Resistance, and then add damage, and that would be, I believe, 5.
Yeah, you'd do
which would
5,
a breach.
which would do 1 breach.
Yeah, that sound good? Do we want to use all of our momentum for that? I'm still learning.
Yeah.
That's up to you.
I'm
Sure.
fine with it.
Yeah.
It seemed I don't know how strong ships are because we've never actually managed to cripple
With
one.
NPC
Yeah.
ships, with standard NPC ships, they're much easier to destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a hero ship, so it doesn't have breaches the same way. You do a number of breaches equal to its. In order to destroy, you have to do 1 more breach than its total hull or scale. Yeah, it's a scale 5 ship, so you'd be doing 1 breach, which is 1/5 of its. 1/6 of its blowing up.
Okay. Yeah, Jean's going to do that.
I think it's 1/6. I'm trying to find that page, and I don't know where it's at. But yes, you do that. You spend your 1. And you do a damage to the ship. It loses, I think, energy. I had this mapped out the other day where the NPC damage was, but I cannot find anything anymore.
And
I can
we
copy
roll
and paste
D20
it.
for the breach, right?
The breach, you don't need to roll a d20 for the breach on this because
Oh.
it just takes damage. There's no systems really.
Yeah, but it actually becomes disabled when it reaches its scale. So
Yeah, it's destroyed when it goes above its scale.
Right.
Yep. Do you know what page that's on, Brian?
no, I just have it in my reference doc.
Okay. That's good enough for me.
But I pasted it.
So
It's on page 225.
225. Okay. So it takes a breach. It is. Yep. Let's see. It's 225 of the Klingon book.
No, well, no, but I was wrong. I was wrong anyway.
Okay.
It's the damage is on page 230.
230.
It just
Yeah, there. I got it. So an impact. The ship takes an impact whenever the ship suffers 1 or more breaches, which it has now 1. It loses a single turn during its next round. During the next round, so it still has all of its ones for this round. This is not cumulative. It also loses 2 power, so it doesn't lose multiple. It just loses 1 next round. That's weird. It should lose the next action, but whatever. So with that in mind, you have hit it. It starts smoking a little bit out of one of the sections. It will return fire on the fighters because that's who it was attacking before.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and spend a third. So go ahead and spend my threat to use my 3rd die. Fuck you,
Get a threat
fighters.
from.
Complication.
Okay.
And it was my last one. So that is 2. No, that's 1, 2. 2 because they don't have any stuff. So that is 2 successes to hit. I hit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have no threat to do anything else. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total, including all the vicious.
Well, we have 7 shields.
You have 7 shields. It would cause breaches.
Well, 11 minus 7, it would cause 1 breach, right?
I'm trying to find. Let me find the fighter real quick. I want to make sure I do all the math right here.
It's the first one up from in Discord. If you're looking for a page, it's on page 71 of command.
No, we're using the one out of the main book for the moment, because that's the one we started with,
The Maquis.
and it's actually more powerful. So
Oh, is it?
I think it's more powerful than the one in the fighter in the book, because as I recall, I'd have to look, but one of them was really kind of weak and one of them was not.
I think it's the Maquis fighter this week.
It might be.
Yeah.
But it's the one we started with. It's one we're using.
Alright.
Scale of 1, resistance of 1, so it does 10 damage, which is 2 breaches minus that, so you're basically getting 3 breaches here.
Shields don't right. Shields don't negate. It's only resistance that okay.
Right.
Well, I can avoid a breach. Let's see.
Avoid the breach costs 2 momentum to do so. Remember that immediate momentum can be paid for both rank represents another member. Avoiding a breach does not prevent damage to collective shields and suffer, blah, blah, blah. You can only avoid a breach once for each fighter in the flight. Each avoid the breach is used, damage fighter removed. Yeah, basically you would just suffer. You would avoid the breach so you wouldn't die, but it would blow up some of the other fighters. That's basically how that works out. That's how that is intended to work out.
Yeah. So I guess take 2 threat because I don't want Shijin blown up.
Right. And then you would lose 2 fighters. So
Each fighter that suffers 2 or more breaches as a result of avoid the breach is destroyed. So one takes 2 breaches and the other takes 1. So we lose 1 fighter and another one is.
well, no, you would just lose
disabled.
1. You would only lose 1 fighter in this case.
Yeah, gotcha.
So because you avoided one of the breaches, so you would lose 1 fighter in this case. Yep. So you'd lose 1.
Okay.
Yes, that is how that is worded. That's how I intended that, I think. So with that, it is now your guys' turn. If you want to do anything else.
I think we need to turn our attention to the NPC ship. I'll order come about. Well, we can't shoot yet. It's still second round.
Right. You can because, well, you kind of can because of the fact that you used your action to command the firing, so that your bridge station got used, not their bridge station. Kind of. It's weird how that works, but that's how I've always played it. So,
can we? I don't know if we can do this mechanically. What I envision in my head is we get the boarding team gets beaten back aboard. Mills is holding pressure on Koba until med team arrives, and then she shakes off med team and goes to the bridge.
Sure.
And she'll boot the person on the security station off.
Yeah, it would basically just use your minor action to get to the bridge.
Okay.
That's technically all a minor action. So
okay, cool. Yep. We will do that, and Mills will take the shot.
Okay. You come in, you see you see Hage and whatnot going on what's going on the bridge. You take a quick look at the sensors there, and Hage tells you to come about.
Okay. Now we can use her tactical systems.
Yes. Also, you get a terrible roll.
Yeah, I mean, a success.
It takes 2 to hit. So.
Well. No dice.
No dice.
No dice.
Comes back to the Klingon ship. The Klingon ship is going to.
Does the ship assist in shooting?
Oh, yeah, it does.
You're right, it does.
Come on, Eva.
9. That is another success. That's 2 successes.
Hooray! All right.
So there you go. You got to remember the ship is there.
All right, and we are at 9. Is it already determined? Right.
It is 8. The ship does 8.
Is 8.
We have not scanned for weakness.
Doing 8.
So, or well, we have, but it only applies to the next attack.
Okay.
Nice.
And you also have 2 versatility, so you have 2 additional bonus momentum you can spend. So you have 9 damage. Your effects don't mean anything in this particular combat for this weapon with this weapon.
Okay.
So it's 9 damage plus 2 momentum. What do you want to do?
Can we use? Where's my stupid cheat sheet?
We should probably put the bonus towards
penetration,
resistance.
Yeah, piercing.
Yep. Good on that.
Right.
So
that
4 points of armor.
4 points of So you'd take 1. So they take 8.
Yep.
Which where's my sheet go? How much damage did the fighters do? I forgot. It was more than 8, right?
We did 5 total damage. We just got that one breach.
Oh, right. Okay. So that puts my shields at 7. And you get a breach, which puts them in a second breach. Which is 2 breaches total. They are still suffering from additional energy loss, and they will lose a turn next round.
Okay.
Back to them. They are beginning to move off, and they are cloaking. So they are moving into medium range and cloaking. Your guys' turn.
Well, science, let's see if we can't get them back on our sensors. Can you do a sensor sweep? It's difficulty 5, so I'm not expecting any miracles.
Yep. You do have an
Um,
advantage on detecting cloak.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Okay.
Their cloaks are also 1 harder, so you're still at 5. But
So since this is part of a plan, does that and we're
Did
getting
you go quiet or did I lose you?
look,
can you hear us?
I have frozen
Oh.
apparently. There we go. Yeah,
Can
like
you hear us?
everything froze.
Oh.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
yes, I would say that yes. So you're going to be back to 4 because these Klingon ships have +1 to their cloaking. Your advantage from the sensors because you would have negated that, so 5, and you get 1 more, so you're at 4.
And and then since we're getting the benefit of an action that is part of my plan, we get a bonus momentum, right?
Sure.
Isn't that?
Okay.
You have 2 successes, so with the bonus momentum, you have 3 successes.
And the ship also rolls.
Yep. And the ship rolls.
Oh, it's a 19. That's why.
Roll. My computer's freezing up too. That counts as 1 success. So you have
Right.
4 successes. So
Can
you
I
do
use-
manage to reestablish a lock.
Okay. Cool.
It is now my turn.
Which one did we detect?
I assumed you were still going after you would only be able to detect the other one because
Yeah.
The
you
other
would
one?
only detect the NPC one because the other ship would have been continuing to move out of range.
Yeah, cloaked and move on. So we established. You said reestablished a lock. So we got them back in the tractor, or we
No,
reestablished.
You can make an attack on them next
Okay.
next round. Because you guys don't have any more attacks this round.
Right.
Okay.
The other ship is gone to warp. So that was my action for that one, and I believe that's it for this round. The new round begins, and you guys can act.
Okay.
And the Klingon ship suffer. The NPC Klingon ship is now suffering power loss, and so it would lose, it would lose 4 power, and it would lose 1 task this turn. 1 out of its 5.
I would like to fire on them, sir, with your permission.
Lieutenant Mills, if you don't disable that ship, I am going to. If you don't disable that ship, I am going. Lieutenant Mills, if you disable that ship, I'm going to throw so many metals at you that you won't be able to walk.
Yeah.
2.
It's only 2.
No, the ship assists.
It's true.
Also, 2 is all you needed.
Yeah, that's right. My brain is stuck in the last one.
Let's see if we can get some momentum.
That is a 3rd.
30.
Wait, is that a 3rd? What is Europa's stats here?
Hopefully higher than a 10.
It's weapons and security. Yeah, you're at 12. So
Okay.
6, and the effects don't matter. So 6 damage, and you have 3 total momentum you want to spend.
Let's go back to piercing. which takes 2 of them. Is that right? Or were we spending both them piercing last time? Is that how we're doing things?
It's 1 momentum per 2 resistance dropped. So you need to
Per
spend 2 to
okay.
drop 4 to get them to 1 resistance, which
Which-
would deal 5 damage and cause a breach.
Okay.
So
So we'll do
I'm
that, and then
learning.
that leaves us with another momentum as well, correct?
You'd have 1 momentum left, yes.
Mhm.
Which you can use for damage if you want.
Let's do
Although,
that.
1 extra damage against the shields.
Yeah, it won't make much difference because I think their shields are already down.
You could gain an additional minor action if there's anything there you want to do.
Not really.
Yeah,
No, just
not
save the
particularly.
momentum.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, just save them.
So banking one.
Oh wait, no, they're sorry, their shields are not down.
What?
You took the breaches. You did enough damage that you went past the breaches. I have them still having at 7 because you did a shitload of breaches last time because of you did one. I did a shitload of breaches. I did a shitload of breaches to the fighters.
Yes.
You guys did. You brought their shields down to 7.
Okay.
But you did a breach because of getting enough damage. So this would put their damage. If you do the additional damage, you bring their shields down to 1.
Okay.
And you still do 1 breach.
I'm good with that.
That breach puts them at disabled, I think. No, damaged. So
Mm-hmm.
they're at damaged. The total number of breaches an NPC ship suffers increases difficulty. Half its scale increases difficulty of all things. Basically, it's just increased its difficulty to do everything by 2.
Okay.
Which sucks for it. But yes, you can now see like smoke trailing out of the back of it. It's not good for them. They
I'd actually like to spend 2 momentum to keep the initiative, or give you 2 threat to keep the initiative.
okay.
And I would like to do my. I would like to direct Mills to engage the tractor beam.
Is
Okay.
it fixed?
I do not want that ship getting away.
I can do that, but is it fixed?
Technically, there's no rules saying that it broke. So
Okay. All right. We do that.
So you go ahead and roll, and I assist with my command roll.
You mean O'Connor?
Yeah.
Because Mills was already gone. So
Sorry,
she can't do that
Mills.
anyway.
I thought she came back.
No,
She came
yeah,
back,
but
she
Mills is
already
the one who
acted.
just fired.
Yeah. But
can't-
if I'm directing, she goes on my turn.
right.
Oh,
you
gotcha.
can get
gotcha.
us additional action basically.
Yeah. All right. And is that also a
It's-
control security rule?
Yes.
Okay. That was a craptastic roll.
Still 2 successes.
All right.
Three successes.
Yep.
And then the ship also gets to roll.
Joy.
Nuts.
Still enough successes.
Ava.
So
Killing me.
there's no damage there. We just tractor it if successful.
Right.
Mhm.
Is now my action.
Mhm.
And I am done with my action. So they are, well, you don't know what they're doing, but they did a thing.
Koba will, or not Koba, Kostra will regenerate the shields.
Right.
The ship also assists, but he got at least 2, so the ship will generate 3. Yeah, 3 regenerates 3 shields.
So you're at full shields.
Yeah.
All right. My turn again. You begin to note that there is a high energy output coming from the Klingon ship.
She's going to explode.
Their engines are they are setting their warp core to intentional breach.
Well, I can't direct, but I would like to
Can-
tell. Go ahead.
Can Tong beam. Are their shields down?
Yes.
Can Tong?
No, I'm sorry,
No.
they're not. They still have one shield.
Why? Damn it!
Never
Ah!
mind.
We're gonna beam everybody into the shuttle, into the brig.
We have those set up.
Hmm.
Ironically, we probably could have gotten them if we had fired torpedoes rather than tractors. Oh well.
Oh, you'd have destroyed them for sure, almost for sure. All right. You have an action to go. If you want to go, you have an action before that blows up.
Evasive action. We do not want to get caught up in that.
Yeah, you do not. So that's Silva.
Yeah. I don't know what. the
Wait,
difficulty
when
would
they
It would
began
also
to
be
cloak,
Jashid.
didn't their shields drop, or did they bring them back up?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. When they cloak, the shields will be down.
Cool. So we can try to beam as many over as possible.
Do the thing, Tong.
I mean, you're still going to be, if you don't do evasive maneuvers, you're still going to be in their blast radius.
Right.
Yeah, I would have still ordered Tong to beam out. I would take. Hage would take the hit in order to beam as many Klingons over as possible.
Okay.
As long as it doesn't outright destroy our ship, but with full shields, hopefully we'll survive this.
I think we'll be okay. It's worth the risk.
Okay. So Tong's gonna beam some things out.
Okay. Give me a roll. Difficulty is 3.
I don't still have that advantage, do I?
No, I
No.
think that was just to the next one.
Cool.
It was
Cool.
specific to beam your crew out of the other ship is
Yeah.
what it was
Yeah.
pretty much for.
Control, engineering, focus, difficulty 3. We don't have any momentum.
I'm going to increase the complication range by the maximum number that I can, which is 4, right? Or 5.
I think 4.
It's 4, so it should be
You can take it down to 16.
16, yeah.
Okay. Well, you
should
did just
generate
spend all
some
of that
threat.
momentum. I could just give you some more momentum to get another dice. It increases complication range. 16 target 5 or lower is a. You know what? I think I'm just gonna roll this flat and just see if Tong has it.
Whew.
Tong doesn't have it.
Ship assist though.
Okay.
How many do we need total?
3.
That is should be a success, I think. What is that assisted? Is
It's engineering plus control or plus
computers, I would think, or sensors.
15. So yeah.
So yeah, succeeds. So you have 3.
Okay. Tong and Eva working together.
So you beam over a handful of Klingons.
All right, straight into the containment units that we
Yes.
set up.
Yep.
By the way, I found the rules for ships exploding. It says it's usually not large enough to cause damage to other ships. However, the game master may spend 2 threat to inflict a number of stress equal to the ship's scale to any within close range.
Yes. Which I'm going to do, and I have 2 threat left. So.
All right.
Lucky us.
So you take 5.
Can
Is a breach.
Well, it's decreased by our scale, so
It is. Well, it's reduced, yeah, by your resistance, which is 5.
Yeah. So we're okay.
Yes. Yeah, blowing up your ship is not an effective combat tactic in this game.
No, it is not.
But you do not get all the Klingons. You only get a few.
a few
Yeah, that's fine.
enough?
You already had one. I didn't really care. You have one. As you now have like 6 alive.
I
so.
mean, I wasn't even thinking of them as intelligence assets. I just wanted to save as many people.
Ah,
Oh, I wanted them as intelligence assets.
Look, if we get intelligence from them, all the better. I'm not say we don't. But,
You saved 4 Klingons, I will say,
Okay.
all right. Well,
plus the one that you from the planet.
sure.
Mhm.
And that is it. I have you guys have done all the things that are fighter related. I'm going to assume that at this point Shajin is going to come back in.
She's off chasing the
No, we're
cloak.
just gonna do barrel rolls just for fun. No, we're coming back in.
do a barrel roll. All right. With that, what scene you guys want to do next? You've got Koba and Mills are injured. Not
Yeah,
injured.
Mills
but-
will now that the smoke has cleared, literally and figuratively, Mills will look at Hage and say, Captain, permission to go to medbay.
Permission granted. Go.
Thank you, sir. And she'll go get her shit fixed and check in on Koba.
Kova's down there and he's talking to one of the NPC nurses or doctors and say, "Why would you have a massive pit in the middle of your ship? It makes no sense. It's dangerous."
Well,
Hey, Mills, how's it going?
all my guts are where they belong. So, better than you. You got to stop getting cut up when we're on missions together.
Look, I make no promises. Did you see that Klingon's face when he went over the side?
I did.
We almost did it, didn't we? We almost did the thing.
I don't think we were even close. I
We
think
just-
that was poorly planned and poorly executed, and we were decidedly outmanned.
Well, we made it through okay.
We did our best. You getting you stitched up good?
I'll be okay. It takes more than a bat lift to keep COVID down for long.
Good to hear.
How about yourself?
I'm all right. My shoulder's a little out of place, but that's a quick pop back in.
Well, you know what you should do? You should say it's worse than it is. That way you get more time off.
I think the last thing I need right now is time off.
It's your choice. I'll take the sick days.
Well, you can have mine.
Don't joke around like that. I'll take them.
They're all yours.
I've got holodeck programs I gotta get through.
I've got some tactical training I need to get through.
Ugh, you're so boring.
Well, boring saves lives.
I suppose. It was good to do a mission with you finally. Feels like all we've done is train together.
True. Wish the mission had been a little more successful and involved a little fewer beheadings.
Yes.
True.
Shame about Daniels.
Yeah, I gotta go right his family.
I'll include something too. They, be sure and you see him like he has to like literally force himself to be his cheerful self, and he says, "Well, we almost did it. We almost got it. We were this close."
I won't argue. Let me know if you need anything.
Will do. But go ahead and let the XO know that I'm taking your vacation days.
Pass it along.
That-
She just kind of shoots a, come on, what are we waiting for? Look at the nurse and
At which
kind
point,
of like helps her pop the shoulder back in.
Yeah, you hear the pop, and just as you hear the popping, and just as the camera changes to a different scene.
Gross.
Yep. That way you don't have to hear the screaming that comes immediately afterwards.
Right.
Um,
What
So,
are you
yeah.
what are you talking about? Chief O'Brien had that done like twice a week. He never made a sound.
yeah, the first time's the worst.
After a
time.
while, you kill the nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing left to grind it against.
Right.
So with that, Ambrose and Chirka are still on the planet. I imagine you'll want to be beamed back up at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we're still going to secure the, like, I mean, I think we can have that happen off screen, is like us securing that area. There's no way we're going to.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're basically in narrative time now.
Yeah. So, assuming the area is clear and we've got like science crews down studying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have a scene between Hage and Ambrose. Just and Oniet. I think Oniet should be there as well. So that way we can like debrief and talk about the situation.
Okay.
So you've been beamed back up, and you've gotten situated and sick bayed and all the things you needed to get done. Before going to meet with Hedge at I'm going to assume his ready room.
No, I think we meet at the command room, the war room, the one I mentioned before. I think that's the more appropriate place for this.
Okay.
Hage has the like readouts of the Klingon ship. What was it called? The Wrath?
Yeah.
Yeah, the IKS RAF.
Yeah, he's got the schematics up on the thing, and like looking at it, and he's like, I can't believe we let it get away.
The Europa is not a combat ship, sir, and we were up against 2 Klingon warships. We did a lot better than I would have expected if you suggested such courses of action to me. I'm glad it turned out the way it did. We could have lost a lot more.
Not to mention, these are not your standard Klingons.
That just makes our mission more important.
How many security officers died on the ship?
Just one.
Just one? Okay.
No, 2.
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
One got beheaded, one fell down the shaft.
Yeah. And I believe this is the first time between
2?
the Iconian mission and on the ship. This is the first time we've actually lost personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you lost a couple on the planet, a couple on the ship, and you lost a fighter.
Yeah. So this crew hasn't experienced loss before, and we're a small crew. And we just sacrificed 5 lives today. I'm not saying it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. You don't have to coddle me, Ambrose. I know it wasn't. It would have been if we'd succeeded, but we didn't. So all we have is ashes.
Jurad, I'm not going to say the loss of life. I'm not going to condone the loss of life. However, given what was at stake, risk versus reward, well, risk versus potential reward. I think your statement is not fair. Yes, we didn't get the reward we were hoping for. We didn't get the wrath. We didn't get her people. However,
gained valuable insight into what they're doing. We liberated an incredibly powerful piece of technology, and we captured prisoners. This is
And we-
war. Casualties are to be expected.
Precisely.
You're right.
This is not necessarily what our crew signed up for. I don't think any of us expected to go into war when we boarded the Europa. However, when you join Starfleet, you do so with the understanding that war is a possibility. It's never any losses are never anything to be taken lightly, but they're a necessary evil or a necessary byproduct.
No, I know that. My first host, she was willing to throw away lives for whatever the cost. I'm just
I
trying
don't
to.
think you threw away lives.
No, I suppose I didn't. At least we stopped what they were doing here, I guess. That's probably
Yes.
more important than getting the people responsible. Although I do want the people responsible. Yeah,
Certainly.
Ambrose, I'm counting on you for that. We need to find the Wrath, and
I will get that done, sir.
perfect.
Before this war is over, we'll have Marjad. We'll have Marjad in one brig or another.
I like the way you think, Ambrose. For the first time, I think for the first time, I think you and I are thinking on the same page completely. No, he didn't. He wouldn't.
Dasavi gets a little tinge of worry from Ambrose from that. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, you get a bit of a she's exuding some concern. A little wry amusement at for the first time we're on the same page, but she is since he made the we have nothing but ashes, she has been very concerned.
Perfectly fair. I think I'm going to. There's a ritual among my people where we can bring some of our past lives to the front. One of my past lives was a military commander, one of skill that hasn't been seen much.
Mm-hmm.
It may change me a little. But I think it's worth it.
I think you are I think you should hold off. I think you're still reeling. 5 losses, any losses is significant. 5 is incredibly significant. And I know this isn't the first time you've lost crew, but this was harsh. And I think this is not the time for you to be making, for any of us to be making any significant decisions.
You might be.
I also, as much as the two of you butt heads, think that you temper each other nicely. And having 2 military commanders on board might tip us a little too far in the wrong direction.
Especially with the ship we have.
Precisely.
You're right. You're right. I will do my best to calm my inner lives. But,
I know our current situation doesn't allow much for it, but if we can, I think we should take as much downtime as we can. If that means running in different shifts, however we need to do it. But I think we all, especially after this, need some time to clear our heads.
Now is not the time for downtime. We have a lot of opportunities we need to press. We have prisoners. We have information we need to disseminate. We have research projects. There's still a plague on that planet.
I don't disagree. I'm probably the least affected. I'm certainly the least affected. I have a fair amount of research to do that I can get the medical team working on, the science team as well. And when I say downtime, I don't mean let's all go to Ryza and take a week off. I mean a day, half a day, 20 minutes to meditate, clear your heads.
I think we're best multitasking here. Let's get if the situation on the surface is at least contained, we should get whatever we should get whatever materials we need in order to continue our studies in our labs, and head out to find the Wrath. If we have time for downtime while we're doing our long range scans, then we'll take care of it then.
All right. I think we also shouldn't go after the Wrath alone.
I agree, but we need to find it before we can call in the cavalry. And that is what the Europa is best at.
I think that's going to be more difficult than said, but we have a lot of things to take care of while we're trying to track it down. Chirka found a pad down planet side with the name of a doctor. Probably has something to do with the augmentations the Klingons have, if not this plague that has hit this planet. I think that could be key, along with, I assume, your own autopsies and whatnot, Doctor, to actually finding some way to.
Yes, I strongly suspect they're one and the same.
Okay. Well, Ambrose, why don't you follow up that lead as well as the interrogation of the prisoners? You take the lead there. Aniat, you continue researching the disease, see if you can't figure out more about this scientifically. Mm-hmm. And then meanwhile, I will oversee the scans and we'll see if we can catch any whiff of Klingons, any whiff of where the Wrath might have be hiding itself.
All right.
But you both did excellent today. Ambrose, your capture of the facility was, you faced a shocking number of Klingons, and you managed to get it. You managed to capture it with little effort. I wish I could say I was surprised. Well, I would say I was surprised, but I knew you to be capable. I already knew you were that capable, and I'm just happy to I'm just happy you managed it this time. And Oniat, I could not be more pleased with your performance as the Doctor. Nobody would have been able to handle that crisis like you.
Don't discredit your own successes in all this as well.
I'll try and remember that.
I know as the captain, there isn't often anyone to tell you good job, but
well, I think maybe I need to clear my own head. I've got a boat to fix.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Sounds like a good place to stop. I believe we're going to get another episode out of this. I think we're going to go up because we didn't do some things. So, and those are things we need to do. So we'll do that.
Mhm.
We'll. I think we're going to add a whole other episode to this 5-arc series. Will now become 6. Possibly. We'll have to see how things cram out in the next one. So, with that in mind, with all of that has happened tonight, what moment stands out most to you this evening?
The fighters ended up being more dramatically interesting than I was expecting. So I was happily surprised by the depth it added to the combat.
I tried to make the rules as interesting as I could without adding too much of an imbalance. So I think they do a good job.
I'm liking them.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a moment that stands out to them?
I think both the Iconian DNA and how very swiftly we were outmatched, or how much we were outmatched with those Klingons.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at how trigger happy might not be the appropriate word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Trigger happy Hage was to engage with these ships.
Why?
Because you usually aren't, especially when facing clearly superior forces.
They didn't seem that superior.
They really weren't that superior. It really came down to rolls.
Oh, okay.
Plus-
you guys are really pretty closely matched to one of those ships. To 2 of them, you're not. But with the fighters, the NPC ship, it kind of balances out, because if you're using if you got a hero ship and an NPC ship, that feels to me like a good balance against the Europa and the fighters. More than if there were 2 hero ships, no, you'd been totally outmatched.
Yeah. Well, I only have 2 experiences with ship-to-ship combat, and the first one was the Nebula experience, which I did not recognize as superior forces. In fact, that fight seemed a lot more even than this fight. This fight, at least from my perspective, and I know I was primarily audience this entire game, it felt like a much more uphill battle and a much more dangerous situation. But that, like you said, it could have just came down to rolls.
Some of that is rolls, some of that is just better dramatic tension in this episode.
Yeah.
So
and we didn't have Hage on weapons, or Ambrose on weapons.
Right.
Hidden above our weight class.
Who do you feel best embodied their character in this session? A lot of combat, so it's hard to say, but I think there was some good flashes of moments in there too.
I liked Mills. Sticking to the I'm a hands-on, I'm going to go grab my security team and get moving.
I liked Hage. I think there's a lot of insecurity in Hage by the end of the episode, but I'm not sure that isn't a good thing. I liked what it shows the character. I think it shows his thought process fairly well.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to go too Picard/Borg kind of thing, but
Sure.
No, I like it. I think it feels very natural. I also liked Koba with the like trying to maintain his super positive, unflappable demeanor.
cool. I'm glad that came across.
What did your character learn today? There was a big piece of information that I'm not sure anybody caught, so we'll see if you guys got that. Go ahead.
It's a piece of information that you're not sure anybody caught. Huh?
I feel like the biggest piece of information we got was there's Iconian DNA floating around here.
We found out the captain of the Wrath.
Right.
Yeah.
Her name has come up. Her name has come up before.
Guthmara?
Yeah.
I do not recall that, but I mean that.
It is the
I
same
don't recall
name.
most things, so yeah.
It is the same name as what was on Chirka's pad.
Oh.
The
I
doctor?
think I have it written down.
Yes.
No,
Guthmara, the doctor, is she's the same one as the one that was on the pad. Yep.
That is on the pad, yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we definitely need to find that. That's like the next step. Because That's the doctor too.
Yep.
Okay.
We didn't get to interrogating the Klingons, so we'll do that next session. That'll reveal some more information too.
Sure. Yeah.
Good idea, bad idea.
Boarding the ship.
I mean, I think it was more a good idea than a bad idea. I wish I had rolled extra dice. We did not roll many extra dice this session. We got a fair amount of momentum, but we just did not roll any extra.
Yeah. So you guys spent a lot of momentum, but I don't know that it was really to buy extra dice.
Right.
No, we had to use it all on knocking down ship resistance.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Or
That's
else
one of
we
the
would
reasons
not
the
have
ships
done
are
anything.
right.
Like those ships felt way more powerful than what the Europa would reasonably be able to be pitted against.
Well, the Europa
Not
has
that
the
that's a
same
bad
resistance.
thing.
The
Europa's
Europa
a science ship.
Yeah, the Europa has the same exact resistance they have.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
It's a scale 5 ships.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it, but it's absolutely the way it is.
They were rolling a lot of damage. Were we rolling that much damage? I don't feel like the Europa rolls that much damage.
They do roll more damage. They're definitely a more combat heavy ship.
Yeah. But that makes sense.
Their
Yeah,
weapons
that makes
have
sense.
disruptors have
Okay, yes.
vicious, so like
They also have vicious, which makes them way more dangerous.
Yeah.
And you had at least one roll where you guys did almost nothing. One or two rolls where you did practically no damage.
Yeah.
They were just bad rolls.
That's what I mean. We should have rolled extra dice. Like that
Yeah.
would have changed things significantly, I think.
Well, that was your actual damage rolls were pretty bad a couple times.
That's true.
So,
Well, not to discredit Mills at all, but Ambrose is built around. I mean, he's the chief of security. He's built around combat, both in person and ship to ship combat. So I have a lot of ways of generating momentum, buying extra dice, re-rolling those extra dice, doing extra damage. So not having our main weapons expert on the ship for a combat of this scale did.
you also
Yeah.
didn't have Mills at the command at the council that
That's
most
true.
of the fights.
Mhm.
So you were running on generic, quote unquote, generic NPCs doing a lot of the stuff, which you can go ahead and use. I think we just used Mills' stats, but you don't get any of
Right.
the
You don't get her.
talents or focuses
Yeah.
or any of that stuff.
I really wish I'd been more clear on that at the beginning. Like I had not. I
It's
had
a
wanted to stay
I think it's a good conversation to have in game too. Like
I agree.
it's-
Oh yeah,
I think it
Paige
absolutely is.
Really should chew out Mills, because that is such a breach of protocol to leave the weapon station during a firefight.
Well, yes and no. I mean,
We weren't
again,
in a firefight yet.
it's also he said go assemble a team, and you can't beam away from the bridge. So I mean,
Yeah.
I get where she's coming from. It's
Yeah,
a conversation that could certainly be had.
I think the
And she didn't leave it
conversation-
unmanned. She just like looked
Yeah.
at the next security officer and
Right.
I think the
Yeah.
conversation is going to be more about delegation.
Right.
Like you should have delegated it.
we can have that conversation.
I think it'll be fun.
Mhm.
All right. What did you see from a character or player that you would like to see more of in the future?
I like the Mills Cobra banter. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I like the that we're coming away from the initial like less friendly rivalry and coming into like we're actually building a friendship.
It's buddies. It's
Yeah.
We're buddies.
Yeah. I was actually going to mention after the events of last episode and the fight at the Iconian base, I was all ready to have Ambrose just ham up the fact that we lost 2 people, and then you guys went and got 3 others killed, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm under
They
par.
only got 2 others killed. Shajin
under
got one
par.
more.
I'm
killed.
Sure, Shajin, yeah. Shajin will take responsibility for that 3rd one, but
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like what was correct or not, I think like we definitely, it was all worth the risk. Like, this is a military ship. Like, you put people in danger. You don't.
We're a science ship.
we were
Okay.
a science ship.
You're a science ship with some pretty powerful weapons, and you're
Sure.
in a combat. You're in a combat
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
We're still a Federation starship. Like, that ship was basically carrying a plague. Like,
Right.
You know, like it was worth pulling out all the stops to stop it.
Yeah.
Not basically. It was absolutely carrying a
was.
plague.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I was going back and forth whether Ambrose was going to point out how stupidly dangerous trying to board a ship of cybernetically augmented Klingons was, or whether he respected the balls of it. And I think eventually it just tipped over to the latter.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You also you do have the consideration now, and this is just a thing to think about. It's not necessarily a thing to comment. It's just a thing to think about. If that ship did have plague, and it's exposed, you get it by being exposed to it. You know, like you basically just exposed a bunch of your crew to it who had not yet been exposed.
Oh, good, another ship plague.
Hooray.
If that's the case, I'm just putting it out there.
Right.
Thought. Because by that point, you guys hadn't actually been exposed. The ship itself hadn't been exposed yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So.
I'm probably gonna write something about this between sessions, but I think Hage, if everybody in that mission had died, but they'd still managed to get the cloaking device down, he would have seen it as 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, that's, you know, I think that comes from his mind of his first host. Like, I hope I'm not laying on the Trill thing too much. It's hard to find the right balance of like how much to lay on, but like that haunts him, and like
Sure.
That's such a departure from the Hage that I think Ambrose recognizes.
Yeah, but he's got
Like
that in him.
I suppose. I guess Trill are susceptible to wild shifts in perspective, especially as they have more and more past lives. But Hage's responses in this particular episode felt like a complete left turn from where Ambrose was finally pinpointing who Hage was and what his reactions were and how far he was going, and then
I'm not sure it's a complete left turn. I definitely think it was definitely an escalation of his willingness to use violence. But again, the stakes were higher too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about the Klingons could be getting a gate. They're definitely using mutagenic weapons. Like this is a bad thing. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
So I get that. I don't think it was a complete left turn, but I definitely could see how it could be a little more confusing. Like I think it's definitely an escalation of Hage, but I don't know that it's necessarily completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just it's messing with Ambrose's. We had a dynamic going, and now that dynamic is kind of like Dasavi said. We don't need 2 soldiers in command of a science ship.
I will say that one of the things I liked about this, one of the interactions I enjoyed, and what I like about the characters I want to see more of, I liked the decisiveness of Hage. I thought that his choosing a plan of action and going for that plan of action, good or bad, I think is very. It felt like you were in command, and I liked that.
Yeah.
So
no, it definitely felt right, and it was really good, and I think it's a really good parallel between Hage and Ambrose, harkening back to last episode when Ambrose made the split-second decision to set that reactor to overload.
Yeah.
Because that was also a high risk, high reward,
right,
potentially stupidly dangerous action.
It's a fun juxtaposition, I think.
Yeah.
I like it. So
yeah, that's definitely something that Ambrose recognizes. Not sure if he thinks it's a good or a bad thing yet, but it's
right.
a point of commonality.
All right, so if you go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
If you could change one thing about this session, what would it be? I'd been feeling better.
Yeah.
My one main thing I think was I think the combat. I think it felt okay, but I felt like it needed to be sped up a little bit.
I was about to say I think maybe making the Klingon ship a character ship may have been a bad idea, because like character ships have a lot more breaches.
No, I'm aware. I'm aware. There's a reason that is the only No, there are two in the entire campaign that I have written. There are two ships that are hero ships that you guys have had any chance of encountering yet. There's one more that you guys haven't encountered, but like there are two Klingon ships in the entire thing that are hero ships, and this is one of the two. The other one is would if you ever come across it, will be Duras's ship, and that's it. Everything else you're gonna come across is not a hero ship.
Well, just keep in mind, two character ships battling out is going to take forever, just because there
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
so much breaches.
It is.
I
Yeah.
I
My
think
hope is
story-wise,
that-
it makes sense for the Wrath to be a character ship, though.
Yeah, and my hope is that we can. One thing is, again, we don't do a lot of ship combat, so that slows things down. But
Although,
two,
that's
I
true.
think, what's that?
I think we did a lot faster this time.
We did. It was a lot faster, and I think it was a lot more precise. I think it went well. What slowed it down to me, I think, was the middle of the combat. We switched to an on-ship combat,
Yeah.
and then came.
I
back
actually
to it.
really like that.
I liked it, but it
Yeah.
felt like it felt like it took. It felt like the combat ended up taking longer because of it, but it felt like it did feel like two
See,
different combats. But
I'm not getting that. I felt like this
No?
combat was a lot more bogged down than the previous one.
Really?
Yeah.
You-
Maybe it's
the way
because I
around.
wasn't as involved in this one.
Maybe.
Could be the case. But I felt like there was a lot of record keeping issues that popped up. How much damage are we doing? We're doing this dice. No, it's this dice. No, it's that dice. No, it's this dice. Okay, now
Yeah.
we're rolling 2 less dice this time because we rolled 2 more dice last time.
Right.
Oh no, it's this dice now, and then oh no, this effect does that, and it's 1 difficulty. No, it's 2 difficulty. No, it's 1. No, it's 3. No, it's 1. How much
And a lot
damage
of that
did we do?
is-
Did we bring down the shields? Yes, we brought down
Right.
the shields. No, we didn't bring down the shields. Hey, there's a cloak. Yes, the shields are down. It just
some of
didn't
that is
feel like
just
there was
I've got a lot of shit going on my screens,
yeah.
and some of that is also like you're playing by the actual rules,
Right.
and that's
And some of that is my lack of understanding of this combat system. Period. This is the kind of session that I don't like in
Right.
any sort of gaming. This is why D&D is my least favorite system, because it's so crunchy.
Yeah.
when you get into the crunch of this game, there is a lot to bite into.
Right. Like this is a
Um,
great narrative game until we start fighting.
Yeah. And I felt like a lot of what we had as far as the mechanical issues of this was there's some, I think a lot of it was Evelyn having confusion as to what dice do what and when
Yeah.
you roll them.
Like, where am I at? What does what? And
Um,
I'm working on, and unfortunately, it's a matter of like figuring out things in the moment because I don't know what I need where. But
Right.
I'm adding my own notes to the cheat sheet, so I have things in my face like, how the hell do I figure out damage and
Right.
what are the dice conversions? Because
it's really a very simple roll when you think about it. Like it's when you look at how combat
Mhm.
works, it works the same for everything. It's the same as doing combat is the same exact thing as doing an extended skill test, right? You roll your 2d20.
yeah, but I don't have a good grasp of those either.
Right. But you roll your d20s. If you hit, you've got momentum. You can spend momentum however you want.
Right.
And then you roll the d6s for damage.
Mm.
That's it. There's really nothing more to it than that. The d20 at the end of that is like a critical hit table. That's all it is.
Right.
I
And
think the
that's-
mechanics of combat in this system are really just fine. It's just the sheer number of options you have
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
that you have to
really,
keep track of.
Mhm.
You really have to be able to go quickly. And one of the things you have to be able to do is know you need to do this in D&D too. In fact, it's more important in D&D than this, I think, and it's easier to do in D&D, but you have to know ahead of time what you're planning to
Mhm.
do on your turn. So you need to know like what are my priorities for momentum spends. If I get this many momentum, I'm going to do this. If I get this momentum, I'm going to do that. If I get extra momentum, I'll do these other things. But you need to be able to know if you sit and wait until your turn to cast your spell, you're a
Oh,
shit
yeah.
The
player.
thing is,
It's-
in D&D, you play one character. In this game,
Agreed.
you play between 2 and all of them.
Yes.
So you don't
Um,
have 4 other people's worth of time to think of things. You have
Yes.
1 or 2 other
well,
people's worth of time to think of things.
We're also playing a game with way fewer players.
That is true. Yeah.
Right.
So, but it's also it should theoretically be a faster system when you get into it. Like, and again, it does take time to get used to it. There are a lot of options. That cheat sheet really does help. And once you know what momentum can do, the thing that really slows things down then is like the tactics. Like you start getting into, I want to use, like Hage using direct or getting into like the not focuses but the talents, what things different talents do. that can slow things down. But again, if you know your talents ahead of time and you know what you want to do, it does get faster. And we do have the disadvantage of you're playing multiple characters, so you go from one to the next to the next. The advantage you have though is that there's no initiative. It's just you go when you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is. It's hard to keep track of. I know I missed several opportunities to do stuff, like both as Koba and as Hage. Like
one of the drawbacks I have found to having so many characters is that you do have to switch mentalities, and it's much harder to do.
Yeah, that's a little tricky sometimes. Like I was struggling. I'm so glad that Tong brought it up, because I almost made the suggestion about we've got the containment cells, let's beam them into the containment cells. And I'm like, wait, no, Mills has already done everything that she can do. O'Connor wouldn't be thinking about that. Shit.
Right. Yeah, it is difficult to switch between this many characters. Like it's I get the frustrations. Like thinking about the way I would do it, and I write a lot, so I switch between characters pretty much constantly. But I can see where it would be more complicated as a player. So
it's I do well with it when we're just in that slow narrative piece, when we have scenes where we have multiple characters together and it's fast paced like that. That's where I'm like, wait, crap, who am I?
Yes, which is one of the reasons for a lot of it. It is easier when there's four of us because we tend to be able to split the party up a little better.
Yeah.
And I think that hopefully we'll get better when John comes back. So hopefully, we haven't done a lot of fast paced stuff while John was here though, so it's hard to say. But again, in this particular combat, we had Evelyn had 2 characters on the bridge, Brian had 2 characters on the bridge, and then Koba and. Well, not Cobra. Then Tong was kind of just tossed in there at some point, and we don't, it was like and boom, here you go.
Right.
So yeah, fluid and dynamic storytelling is hard when you have to play multiple characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say with your comment about fortunately this game doesn't have initiative. I don't know. I feel like I like initiative systems because there's a lot of times, especially in this particular game, where I felt like we were doing that thing where 2 people meet out the doorway and they're like, left, no, right, no, do I go? No, do you go? How do we want to order this? And
right.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree. I'm with you. Like I like like when we were in on the when we were on the Wrath, I was like, let's just keep the initiative cycle we've got.
Sure.
And that makes it easier for me. And I feel like it makes it easier for Flo, because then we're not sitting here hemming and hawing. And then if there is an instance where like Mills pops onto the bridge and is like, all right, let's get this shit done.
Right.
We can make room for that narratively.
See, I on that, I have to disagree. I think personally that initiative is almost always the worst part of combat. It's not even close to the worst part of combat, but one of the things that I think needs to happen in Star Trek, and this is something that I've thought about as a player, when you are in a situation where there's multiple scenes, the commanding officer needs to take initiative and tell players, you're going to go next, you're going to go next, you're going to go next. It's not a thing that we do, but it's a thing I think should happen. Like, Paige should be like, and I need Mills to go. I need this person to go. I need this person to go. And then
I
Mills,
feel like Brian was more or less doing that.
Yeah, but you were not.
No, I was not.
So Mills would be the next one to do it. Like, or if Ambrose is the commander of his scenes, Ambrose is directing the initiative. That's I think how it's intended to be. I don't know for sure, but that's how I feel like it almost has to run. And then every turn
makes sense, but I feel like that just wouldn't work with a lot of players. I think it will with this game, but I feel like a lot of players.
We just need to be more cognizant of just doing that.
Yeah.
The record, I'm fine with it. I had no problems with it.
I know a lot of players that really rile against any sort of chain of command or authority, and it would not work for. But I think we're all
you probably shouldn't play a military game.
Right. We all know what we signed up for. We all know each other. I think, if Hage, as the captain, if Hage is in command, you tell us when you want us to go and at least suggest what you want us to do.
The hard part about it is not going too far with it. Like, don't command the player on what to roll and how to complete a task. Just you complete this task. You
Right.
figure out how to do the
Do
task.
give the command in character narratively, and then we do the crunchy crap behind the scenes.
Right. Because then that gives Chirka a chance to find an alternate way around things by blowing up a whatever, or it gives that is the hard part, I think, of dealing with that. And it would also be, to your point, it would be the thing that would help alleviate that pressure on players who balk against authority, of which I am, at least in real life, that kind of person. So, right. All right, anything else you guys want to add?
No, not really.
Okay. It sounded like you were going to say something there for a second, though, Brian.
Well, I just want to say that the one thing that the one problem that does bring up, where you just give the order and then don't elaborate on it further, is we have moments like we had with Mills, where I said, organize an away team, or organize a away team, and you were like, okay, I'm going to go organize the away team. I'm like, no, that's not what I meant.
Right. But that is an in-game thing to correct as well. Like, that is a conversation to be had in-game. And it's also a matter of, like,
I mean, that's fair, but I feel like our characters would know what the procedure is, but we were not trained in Starfleet protocol.
Well,
so,
it's also could be different for different crews. And again,
right,
I think it's
exactly.
a
I mean,
really good. I think it's a really good point to have in game too. Like, I really do.
Yeah, it's tricky. I'm not trying to complain. I'm just saying, situations like that can come up in cases like that. Is all I'm saying.
Right. And it's one of those things where, as a crew gets more used to each other, the crew will understand what the captain means when he says things.
Right.
There's a point in Next Gen where they entrap aliens with this gesture of a hand, and Picard makes it fairly clear this is what a well-trained, well-seasoned crew can do.
That was a really boring episode up until the last 5 minutes when they did that.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, anyways, on that note, let's go ahead and roll credits.
Yeah.